Before the first coin was struck, before the first ledger was written, there existed something else, an older currency, a deeper truth. There was value. It was an invisible current, an energy, a recognition of life, nourishing life. It was the warmth of the fire, the nourishment of the shared meal, the safety of the tribe. The ancients did not seek prosperity, they embodied it. They understood that abundance was not a thing to be acquired, but a state of being to be lived. They knew the world outside was a mirror, reflecting the world within. This was the great knowing, and then came the great forgetting. We created symbols to represent this flow. A shell, a piece of metal, a slip of paper, a number on a screen. And slowly, over centuries, we began to worship the symbol. We mistook the map for the territory. We mistook the shadow for the light. We mistook the symbol for the source. And in that mistake, we were born into lack. We began to feel a hollowness, a persistent anxiety that no amount of symbols could ever truly fill. We started chasing the paper, the numbers, believing that if we could just accumulate enough of them, we would finally feel whole, we would finally feel safe, we would finally be enough. But that feeling never came, because we were looking in the wrong place. We were trying to quench a spiritual thirst with material water. What if you could end this chase? What if you could reverse the great forgetting right here, right now, within your own soul? What if you could awaken that ancient awareness, that primal connection to the current of value? What if you could learn to communicate directly with the spirit of money, the energy of prosperity, which sleeps not in a bank vault, but in the silent chambers of your own heart? This is the journey we are about to take. This is not a manual for acquiring wealth. It is a pilgrimage within. It is an excavation of the soul, a clearing of old debts, a healing of the deepest relationship you will ever have. Your relationship with worthiness, with value, and with the sacred, intelligent flow of the universe. The answers you seek are not outside of you. They have been waiting patiently for you to turn your gaze inward. The door is before you. Let us now, together, step through. Let us begin by acknowledging what is, not what we wish was, or what should be, but what is. There is a feeling, is there not? A hum beneath the surface of your days, a quiet tension in the shoulders, a subtle clenching in the jaw, a tightness in the chest when you think of the future or the past. It is a constant companion, a silent roommate in the temple of your body. For some, it is a loud roar of panic. For others, a low-grade, persistent anxiety, a background static. It is the feeling of not enough time, not enough energy, not enough love, and most tangibly, not enough money. It is the quiet, nagging whisper that you are somehow behind, that you have missed a crucial instruction that everyone else seems to have received. It is the feeling of running a race with no finish line, the sense of being fundamentally unsafe in a world of numbers and demands. Breathe into this feeling for a moment. Do not push it away. Do not condemn it. Simply acknowledge its presence. It is familiar, is it not? Almost comfortable in its discomfort. We have lived with it for so long, we mistake it for ourselves. We believe this feeling is a factual report on the state of our lives. We believe it is a direct and accurate measure of our worth and our security. And this is the first great illusion we must gently dismantle. That feeling is not a truth. It is not a fact. It is an echo. It is a phantom limb. The injury happened long ago, but the ghost of the pain remains, tricking the mind into believing the wound is still fresh. It is a recording playing on a loop, so ingrained in our nervous system that we mistake the playback for a live performance. It is a resonance, a vibration left over from old thoughts, old words, old experiences, both ours and those who came before us. It is the echo of lack, and the nature of an echo is that it sounds real. It can fill a space, it can feel overwhelming, but it is always, always a reflection of a sound that has already passed. You are not living in lack, you are living in the echo of it. Imagine your mind is a vast, ancient valley. Its rock faces and canyons were carved long before you became aware of them. The walls of this valley are made from the substance of your life and the lives of your ancestors. One wall is called childhood, etched with the words you heard about money, the subtle tensions you felt from your parents, the things you were told you could or could not have. Another wall is society, a sheer and towering cliff face, constantly polished by advertisements, news reports, and the curated perfection of social media, all screaming a single relentless message. You are incomplete. You need more. Look at what they have. Another wall, perhaps darker and deeper, is ancestral memory. It carries the faint, powerful vibrations of grandparents who survived wars, of great-grandparents who endured famine, of ancient tribes who faced the very real threat of starvation. Their genuine survival anxiety did not simply vanish. It was passed down, a subtle, energetic heirloom coded into your very DNA, a predisposition to fear scarcity. Now, into this valley, a sound is made. Perhaps it is a small sound. A business idea fails. You are passed over for a promotion. You compare your home, your car, your life to someone else's. You make a financial mistake and feel the sting of regret. This is the initial cry, a single, small, and transient event. But it does not simply disappear. It strikes the walls of your valley. It hits the wall of childhood and echoes back, now mingled with your father's voice saying, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or the shame you felt when you couldn't afford what your friends had. The echo is now louder, more personal. This amplified sound then careens across the valley and hits the wall of society. It bounces back, distorted and magnified, carrying with it images of success you see online, the pressure to maintain a certain lifestyle, the fear of being left behind. The echo now sounds like a judgment. This booming judgment then travels down into the deep canyons of ancestral memory. It awakens the sleeping fears of generations past. The echo that returns from this depth is no longer just about your failed business or your current bank balance. It is a primal, existential terror. It is the roar of survival itself. And here you are, standing in the center of this valley, this magnificent, terrifying cathedral of your own consciousness. The echoes are coming from all directions, overlapping, reinforcing each other, creating a deafening symphony of lack. The original sound is long gone, completely forgotten. All you hear is the cacophony. And because you are surrounded by it, because you feel it vibrating in your bones, you believe you are the noise, you believe you are the lack. You do not realize that you are not the echo. You are the silence that perceives the echo. You are the stillness that holds the entire valley. What is the common response when faced with this noise? We try to shout it down. We stand in the middle of our valley of lack and scream affirmations. I am abundant. I am wealthy. I am prosperous. But what happens when you shout in a valley? You simply create another echo. The energy of your shout, which often comes from a place of desperation, a need to fight the feeling of lack, hits the walls and comes back to you, mingled with all the old sounds. The result is more noise, more conflict, more internal struggle. You exhaust yourself trying to win a battle against a ghost. There is another way, a quieter way, a more powerful way. Do not fight the echo. Do not try to shout it down. Do not run from it. Simply listen. Become the witness. Right now, be still. Let the symphony play. Do not attach any stories to it. Just feel it as pure sensation. Where does the echo of lack live in your body? Is it a knot in your stomach, a hollow feeling in your solar plexus, a constriction in your throat? Breathe into that physical space. Do not try to change it or fix it. Surround it with your awareness, like bathing it in warm, gentle light. When you do this, something profound happens. You are no longer the feeling. You are the awareness that is aware of the feeling. A subtle separation occurs. A space is created. In this space is your power. In this space is your peace. When you observe the echo without belief, without judgment, without resistance, you stop feeding it your energy. You stop giving it the fuel of your attention and your fear. An echo that is not fed, that is not reinforced by new sounds, must, by its very nature, begin to fade. The reverberations become weaker, the time between them grows longer. And in those growing intervals of silence, you begin to hear something else. A new sound, or rather, the absence of sound, the deep, resonant hum of pure being, the stillness that was there all along, beneath the noise. This is the first step. It is the great uncoupling, the gentle disidentification from the pain you have carried for so long. You are not the storm, you are the sky. The clouds of lack may drift through, they may thunder and rage, but they are transient visitors. They are not the essence of who you are. The sky does not fight the clouds. It simply allows them to be, knowing that, in time, they will pass. So let us remain here for a moment. In this new understanding, you are the silent, spacious sky. The feeling of lack is a cloud. The story of not enough is an echo. It is not a report on your reality. It is a report on your conditioning. It is a ghost. And you are about to learn that you no longer have to be haunted by it. As we stand here, in the quiet observation of this fading echo, a new question can finally emerge from the silence. A calm, clear, powerful question. If this overwhelming feeling is just a sound bouncing off the walls of my consciousness, what are these walls made of? What is the invisible substance that gives form to these beliefs, these memories, these fears? What is the material that the echo uses to seem so real? The answer is the foundation of all creation and all experience. It is the true currency of the universe, the element from which all worlds, inner and outer, are born. It is the power that will lead you out of this valley. It is the currency of belief. We have stood together in the valley of the mind and witnessed the echo of lack. We have felt its ghostly resonance and understood for the first time that it is not a live broadcast from reality, but a recording of the past. But an echo needs a surface from which to reflect. A sound needs a wall to bounce off of in order to be heard again. The power of the echo is not in the sound itself, but in the nature of the walls it strikes. These walls, this immense and solid-seeming architecture of your inner world, are made of a single, powerful substance. This substance is the bedrock of your personal universe. It is belief. When we speak of belief, we are not talking about a casual opinion or a fleeting thought. We are not speaking of the mantras you repeat in the morning, hoping they will stick. We are speaking of a deeper magic, a core conviction, an embodied truth so profound, so deeply embedded in the fabric of your being, that you do not even recognize it as a belief. You mistake it for reality itself. It is the invisible lens through which you view the world, a lens you have worn for so long, you have forgotten you are wearing it. It tints every perception, informs every decision, and filters every experience. It is the operating system running in the background of your life, quietly and ceaselessly executing its code. Humanity has lived under a great spell, a fundamental misunderstanding of cause and effect. We believe the outer world happens to us, and our inner world is a reaction to it. We see an empty bank account, and the feeling of poverty arises. We experience a business loss, and the belief that we are failures is born. This is the conventional and deeply disempowering view of life. The journey of awakening requires a radical inversion of this process. It is a Copernican revolution of the self. The world does not create your belief creates your world. The outer reality is never the cause, it is always the effect. It is a lagging indicator, a delayed reflection in the mirror of physical form, of a conviction that you hold deep within. Imagine your subconscious mind is a projector, and the world you experience is the screen. Your beliefs are the slides in the projector's carousel. If the screen shows a movie of struggle, anxiety, and just scraping by, what is our typical response? We run up to the screen and try to paint over the images. We try to scrub away the debt, to paint on a new car, to frantically rearrange the pixels of our physical reality. We work harder, we hustle, we struggle against the images being projected, leaving us exhausted and frustrated when the old movie keeps playing. The spiritual path teaches us to stop fighting the screen. It asks us to turn around, to walk back to the projector, and to calmly, deliberately change the slide. When you change the slide of belief, the image on the screen must change. It has no choice. It is universal law. So, let us speak of these slides, these beliefs. Let us use another metaphor. Imagine your consciousness is a vast, fertile garden. The soil is your subconscious, mind-rich, dark, and utterly impartial. It holds no judgment. It has no preference. Its only function is to nurture and grow whatever is planted within it. It will grow a poisonous weed with the same dedication and life force that it will grow a beautiful, fruit-bearing tree. Its nature is simply to grow. The seeds are your beliefs. Where did these seeds come from? Very few of them were planted by you consciously. Most were dropped into the fertile soil of your mind when you were too young to question them. Perhaps you heard your parents arguing about bills through a thin wall. A seed was planted. Money is a source of conflict and pain. Perhaps you saw a wealthy person on television portrayed as corrupt and heartless. A seed was planted. To be rich is to be a bad person. Perhaps you were shamed for wanting an expensive toy. A seed was planted. My desires are wrong, and I am not worthy of nice things. Or maybe you simply absorbed the collective consciousness of your culture, the unspoken agreement that life must be a struggle, that you have to work brutally hard for every scrap, that financial freedom is a fantasy reserved for a lucky, privileged few. Life is hard. I'm just not a money person. It's noble to be poor. These are the seeds, small, seemingly insignificant, yet each containing the genetic blueprint for a vast and sprawling reality. Once a seed is planted in the fertile, non-judgmental soil of the subconscious, it begins to grow. It sends down roots, anchoring itself deep in your nervous system. It sprouts, pushing its way into your conscious thoughts and feelings. And eventually, it bears fruit. The harvest is your life. If you have planted the seed of, "I am not good with money," what fruit must it bear? It will yield a harvest of late fees, confusing financial documents, a mysterious inability to save, and a constant feeling of being overwhelmed by numbers. You will unconsciously seek out experiences that validate this core belief, proving to yourself over and over that you are, indeed, not good with money. If you have planted the seed of rich people are greedy, what is the harvest? You may find that every time a significant financial opportunity arises, you unconsciously sabotage it. You miss the deadline, you mess up the interview, you suddenly feel an aversion to the project. Why? Because your deep, hidden operating system has a command: avoid becoming a greedy person at all costs. To become wealthy would violate a core identity, and the subconscious will protect its sense of identity above all else. Your harvest becomes a field of near misses and almost successes. The task, then, is not to curse the harvest. It is not to be angry at your financial situation. That is as futile as a farmer yelling at his withered crops. The task is to become a conscious gardener. It is to have the courage to get down on your hands and knees, to examine the soil, and to find the seeds that are creating the life you are living. This is the work of a spiritual archaeologist. Your life, as it is right now, is a treasure map. Your financial struggles are not a punishment. They are a signpost. They are pointing directly, with perfect accuracy, to a limiting belief that is ready to be unearthed and healed. So let us begin this excavation. Look at an area of your financial life that brings you pain, a debt you cannot clear, an income level you cannot seem to surpass, a pattern of feast and famine. Hold it in your mind gently. Now ask this question, not of your logical mind, but of your heart, your gut. What would I have to believe is true about myself, about money, or about the world, for this situation to be my reality? Do not rush for an answer. Let the question sink. The answer may not come in words. It may come as a feeling, a memory, a tightening in your body. Trace it back. Where have I felt this specific flavor of powerlessness before? Was it in the classroom, at the family dinner table, in a past relationship? Follow the thread. The archaeologist does not dig randomly. She looks for clues, for patterns in the earth, and follows them to find the artifact. Your recurring emotional patterns are the clues. This is a process of supreme self-compassion. This is not about blame. The archaeologist does not blame the ancient civilization for the pot she unearths. She studies it with reverence to understand the people who made it. You are not blaming yourself, or your parents, or society. You are studying the architecture of your own consciousness with reverence to understand the magnificent, complex being that you are. You are bringing the unconscious to light. And here is the secret. A belief that is held in the darkness of the subconscious has absolute power. It runs your life on autopilot. But the moment you drag that belief into the light of your conscious awareness, the moment you see it, name it, and understand its origin, it begins to wither. It is like a creature of the dark. It cannot survive the light of compassionate observation. The simple act of seeing the seed is what begins to rob it of its power to control your garden. Your beliefs are the framework of your world. They are the silent, powerful commands that created the echo of lack and built the very walls of the valley you have been living in. These individual beliefs, these seeds of "I'm not worthy," "it's not safe," and "there isn't enough," do not exist in isolation. They intertwine their roots and branches, growing together to form a much larger, more formidable structure. They build a fortress, designed in childhood to keep you safe from perceived threats. But you are no longer a child, and the fortress that was meant to protect you has now become your cage. Let us now turn our attention to this structure, to the most common prison that these beliefs build for the human soul. Let us go now and examine the prison of enough. We have unearthed the seeds of belief, the tiny, powerful kernels of thought that grow into the harvest of our reality. We have seen how these individual seeds of unworthiness, of fear, of struggle do not grow in isolation. Their roots intertwine, their branches weave together, creating a structure, a fortress, a prison. This prison is so common, so pervasive, that we do not even see the bars. We have been born inside it, and we mistake its walls for the edges of the world. This prison has a name. It is the prison of enough. Its architecture is deceptively simple. It is built not from stone and steel, but from two small words, when and if. The prison of enough is the state of perpetually living in the future. When I get that promotion, then I will be secure. If I can just pay off this mortgage, then I can relax. When I have $1 million in the bank, then I will feel free. If I can just find the right partner, then my life will be complete. This when, this if, is a perpetually receding horizon. It is a finish line that moves every time you approach it. It is a destination that does not exist, and the lifelong exhausting pursuit of it is the primary source of human suffering. This prison was not built by you alone. You were given the blueprints at birth. Our entire society is constructed upon its foundation. The economic engine of the world runs on the fuel of your feeling of not enough. It requires you to believe you are incomplete. It needs you to feel that your home is not modern enough, your car is not fast enough, your body is not young enough, your life is not exciting enough. It creates a constant, low-level dissatisfaction, a spiritual hunger, and then it offers to sell you the cure. A cure that never works, because the disease it claims to treat is the very condition it needs to survive. The system does not want you to arrive at enough. The system collapses if you ever find peace where you are. And so, we internalize the blueprint. We become our own jailers. We take the vague societal pressure of more and we crystallize it into a number, a specific, tangible goal that we believe holds the key to our liberation. For the person earning $30,000 a year, the key is 100,000. If only, they think, I could earn 6 figures, all my problems would be solved. But then they arrive, and for a moment, perhaps a week or a month, there is relief. But soon, the bars of the prison rematerialize. The echo of lack returns. They look around and see people earning 200,000, and suddenly their new salary feels inadequate. The definition of enough has shifted. The horizon has moved. The person with $1 million looks at the person with 10 million and feels poor. The person with a beautiful house begins to worry about the cost of its upkeep or starts coveting their neighbor's larger garden. We are living under a profound delusion. We believe that the object of our desire, the money, the house, the status, is the source of our salvation. But the very structure of the seeking is the source of our damnation. It is a game that cannot be won. Let us explore this with a deeper metaphor. Imagine that the abundance of the universe, the infinite, unconditional, ever-present reality of source, of life itself, is a vast, boundless ocean. It stretches in all directions, beyond what the eye can see. It is calm and deep, powerful and gentle, and its waters are the very essence of life. Now, imagine that your mind, conditioned by the prison of enough, is a small cup, a teacup. This cup is your definition of what you need to be happy. The cup says, I am a specific job title, a bank balance with 2 commas, a house on a certain street, the approval of these specific people. And so, here you are, standing knee-deep in the magnificent, shimmering ocean of infinite being, holding your tiny cup. And what do? You frantically begin to scoop the ocean into it. Your entire focus narrows to this single, stressful task. Is the cup full yet? Why is it taking so long? Oh no, some of it spilled. You are so consumed by the state of your cup, so obsessed with its contents, that you fail to notice the glorious, limitless reality that surrounds you and supports you. You are literally standing in the thing you seek, yet all you experience is the anxiety of your limited container. This is the agony of the cup. When it is empty, you feel the pain of lack. When you are trying to fill it, you feel the pain of striving. And even in the rare moments when you manage to fill it to the brim, a new and more insidious pain arises, the fear of losing it. You clutch the cup with white knuckles, terrified that you might stumble, that someone might jostle you, that a crack might appear, and your precious enough will leak away. The cup does not bring freedom. The cup brings bondage. What then is the solution? The conditioned mind says, I need a bigger cup. So you trade your teacup for a bucket. You work harder, you achieve more, you get a bigger salary, a more impressive title, and for a while, it feels better. But soon you discover the tragic truth. A bucket is just a bigger prison. The anxiety is the same, just on a larger scale. The striving is the same. The fear of loss is the same. The spiritual path offers a radical, terrifying, and ultimately liberating alternative. The path is not to get a bigger cup. The path is to break the cup. It is to have the supreme courage to look at your definition of enough, that number, that goal, that condition you have staked your happiness on, to let it go. It is to metaphorically smash the cup on the rocks of your awareness and watch it shatter into 1,000 pieces. And in that moment of shattering, you make a startling discovery. The water that was in the cup simply merges with the ocean. Nothing is lost. And more importantly, you realize you were never the cup in the first place. You are the ocean. Your true nature is as boundless, as abundant, and as infinite as the reality you were trying to capture and contain. You were never separate from it. The feeling of separation was an illusion created by the walls of your container. What does it mean to live this way? What does life look like outside the prison of enough? It is not a life of apathy or lazy resignation. It is a life of immense power and grace. It is a shift from a life of desperate getting to a life of joyful being. You still act, you still create, you still engage with the world, but the energy behind the action is entirely different. You are not acting to fill a void within yourself. You are acting as an expression of the fullness that you already are. You write the book not to get famous, but because the story of the ocean wants to be told through you. You build the business not to hoard money, but because the creative energy of the ocean flows through you into a new form. This is a state of profound trust. You cease to worry about the future because you have realized that you are inseparable from the source of all things. The ocean does not worry if a particular wave is big enough. It is the source of all waves. When you live from this knowing, the universe begins to conspire in your favor. The right people, the right opportunities, the right resources flow to you, not because you chased them, but because you finally stopped blocking them with the narrow rim of your cup. You have become an open channel for abundance, rather than a tiny container for it. The first step in breaking the cup is to see it clearly. It is to become ruthlessly aware of your own when and if statements. Catch them as they arise in your mind. I'll be happy when. See that thought. Recognize it. And in your mind, label it for what it is. Prison. Do not judge it. Just see it. This simple act of seeing begins to dissolve its power. The second step is to shift your focus. Take your attention off the state of the cup and place it deliberately on the ocean. This is the practice of radical gratitude. Not gratitude for what you have, which is still a focus on the contents of the cupboard. Gratitude for the fact that you are. Gratitude for the air entering your lungs. A gift from the ocean of atmosphere. Gratitude for the consciousness that is looking through your eyes right now. A drop of the ocean of infinite awareness. Feel the life in your hands, the solid ground beneath your feet. This is the ocean. You are in it. You are of it. By shattering the finite prison of enough, you begin to sense your true nature. You are not a limited physical being defined by your assets and achievements. You are a field of consciousness, an expression of life, a being of boundless potential. And this raises the next profound question on our journey. If I am not this limited container, then what am I? What is the nature of this ocean that I am? To answer this, we must learn to perceive ourselves not as solid matter, but as a unique frequency, a singular resonance in the symphony of the cosmos. We must come to know our own energetic signature. We have stood together at the edge of the abyss, the prison of enough, and in an act of supreme courage, we have allowed its walls to crumble. We have smashed the cup of limitation and felt the truth of our own nature, merging with the boundless ocean of being. This realization is liberating, but it can also be disorienting. If I am not my accomplishments, if I am not my bank balance, if I am not this small, finite self I have always believed myself to be, then what am I? The answer requires us to take another step deeper into the nature of reality. It requires us to look past the surface of things, past the illusion of solidity, and perceive the world as the mystics and the quantum physicists both know it to be. At its most fundamental level, everything is energy. The chair you are sitting on, solid as it feels, is a whirlwind of atoms, a dance of electrons and protons, all vibrating at a specific frequency that gives it the appearance of form. The air you are breathing, the light entering your eyes, the silent thoughts moving through your mind, it is all, without exception, energy in motion. And you, in your magnificent complexity, are the same. You are not a solid object navigating a solid world. You are a field of energy, a symphony of vibration, a conscious electrical current temporarily housed in a beautiful biological machine. This is not merely poetry. This is the operating principle of the cosmos. And within this universal orchestra, each being emits its own unique sound, its own composite frequency. This is your energetic signature. It is the sum total of the vibrations you are currently holding. It is the amalgamation of your dominant beliefs, your most common emotional states, your unconscious assumptions, and your conscious awareness. It is your personal hum in the universe. It is not good or bad, it simply is. And it is this signature, this frequency, that dictates the reality you experience. The universe operates on a fundamental law, as impersonal and as reliable as gravity, the law of resonance. It states that like attracts like. Energy of a certain frequency naturally resonates with, is drawn to, and amplifies energy of a similar frequency. Think of a tuning fork. When you strike a fork tuned to the note of C, another C-tuned fork across the room will begin to vibrate in sympathy, while a G-tuned fork will remain silent. Think of a singer who can hold a pure note that matches the resonant frequency of a crystal glass, causing it to shatter. The note does not seek out that specific glass. It is the glass's inherent nature, its matching frequency, that causes it to respond. This is the great secret. You do not get what you want in life. You do not even get what you deserve. You get what you are a vibrational match to. Your life, with all its people, conditions, and circumstances, is a perfect reflection of your energetic signature. It is the universe responding, with flawless precision, to the signal you are broadcasting. Let us make this intensely practical with our most powerful metaphor yet. Imagine that your entire being, your mind, your heart, your body is a powerful radio broadcasting tower. You are transmitting a signal into the universe 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You never stop broadcasting. The specific frequency you transmit is determined by your dominant feeling state. Your emotions are the indicators of your frequency. Feelings like fear, anxiety, shame, guilt, jealousy, and resentment are low, slow, chaotic frequencies. Let's call this the 88 FM station. When you are tuned to 88 FM, what does it feel like in your body? There is a constriction, a tightness, a heaviness. Your shoulders slump, your breathing is shallow, your mind races with worry. It is the frequency of survival, of being a victim, of powerlessness. It is the frequency of lack. On the other end of the dial are feelings like love, joy, gratitude, peace, trust, and appreciation. These are high, fast, coherent frequencies. Let's call this the 101 FM station. What does it feel like to be tuned to 101 FM? There is an expansion, a lightness, a sense of openness. Your chest feels warm, you breathe deeply. A gentle smile may play on your lips. It is the frequency of creation, of empowerment, of worthiness. It is the frequency of abundance. Now, money, in its true essence, is not paper or metal. It is the energy of value. It is the frequency of flow, of security, of freedom, of ease. It is a high-frequency energy. It lives on the 101 FM station, along with joy and gratitude. Scarcity, on the other hand, is the frequency of fear, anxiety, and desperation. It is the dense, heavy static of 88 FM. Here is where we uncover the tragic error in our approach to prosperity. From our state of feeling lack, from our broadcast on 88 FM, we look out at the world and we desperately want what is on 101 FM. We say, I want more money, I want abundance. But what is the feeling, the vibration behind that wanting? It is the feeling of not having it. The very act of wanting, when it comes from a place of desperation, is a powerful affirmation of lack. You are broadcasting, with every fiber of your being, the signal of I do not have enough. Your frequency is a loud, clear shout of scarcity, and the universe, which is a perfect and impartial mirror, a perfect radio receiver, simply picks up your signal from 88 FM and reflects it back to you. It says, copy that, broadcasting on the frequency of not enough, sending you more circumstances that will validate this feeling, sending you more bills you cannot pay, more unexpected expenses, more experiences of struggle. The universe is not punishing you, it is obediently matching your broadcast. You cannot hear the beautiful music of abundance playing on 101 FM if your radio dial is firmly set to the static of 88 FM. This realization changes everything. It moves you from the position of a victim to whom life happens, to the position of a creator who is the source of their life. It means that the point of power is never out there in the job, the economy, the government, or your bank account. The point of power is always and only within. You cannot change your life by frantically trying to manipulate the reflection. You must change the source. You must change your broadcast. So, how do we become a conscious broadcaster? The first step is to simply become aware of the signal you are sending. Pause, right now, in this moment. Close your eyes if it helps. Ask yourself, what is my frequency? What am I feeling in my body? Do not judge it, do not analyze it, just notice it. Is there a knot of anxiety in your stomach? That is 88 FM. Is there a quiet sense of peace in your heart? That is 101 FM. Is there a cloud of resentment towards someone? 88 FM. Is there a surge of genuine gratitude for the simple fact of your breath? 101 FM. Your emotions are your energetic guidance system. They are the needle on your radio dial, telling you exactly where you are tuned. A negative emotion is not a punishment. It is a loving, compassionate indicator light on your dashboard, telling you, warning, you are currently broadcasting a frequency that will attract experiences you do not want. It is an invitation to recalibrate. The great work of awakening is to learn how to consciously, deliberately choose your frequency, regardless of the outer circumstances. It is to learn how to broadcast the signal of peace in the middle of a storm. It is to learn how to transmit the frequency of gratitude even before the thing you desire has appeared in physical form. This is not about pretending or faking it till you make it. It is about understanding that your inner state is the cause and the outer state is the effect. By generating the feeling state first, you are planting the energetic seed for the physical manifestation to grow. This is the ultimate sovereignty. This is true power. Knowing this, the old way of chasing and striving becomes obsolete. It is like trying to catch the reflection of the moon in a lake, when the moon is already shining brightly above you. This realization is profound, and it naturally leads us to the most practical and important question of all. If my reality is created by my energetic signature, how do I consciously change it? How do I deliberately turn my dial from the static of fear to the clear music of abundance? This is not achieved through brute force. You cannot will yourself to be happy. You cannot fight your way into a higher vibration. The master key that unlocks the control panel of your own energy, the secret to becoming a conscious broadcaster, is found in the one place our noisy, distracted world has taught us to fear and avoid. It is found in the deep, resonant, creative power of absolute silence. It is found in the sacred vault of stillness. We stand now at a pivotal threshold. We have understood that our reality is a mirror of our energetic signature, and we have asked the most vital question: how do we consciously change our frequency? How do we tune our personal broadcast from the static of lack to the clear symphony of abundance? The mind, in its conditioned state, immediately offers its usual solution: effort. It tells us to try harder, to force positive thoughts, to wrestle our negative feelings into submission. It suggests we stand in the middle of our inner storm and shout affirmations louder than the howling wind. This is the way of struggle. It is the way of the ego, and it is doomed to fail. Trying to force a feeling of peace is an act of violence against the self. It only creates more tension, more inner conflict, which only serves to lower our vibration further. It is like trying to flatten the waves of a stormy ocean by beating them with a hammer. You only create more chaos, more splash, more turmoil. The true path is not one of doing, but of non-doing. It is not one of force, but of surrender. The master key to shifting your energetic signature, the entrance to the control room of your own consciousness, is not found in action. It is found in its opposite. It is found in the profound, creative, and deeply misunderstood power of stillness. We live in a world that is terrified of stillness. We call it empty, boring, unproductive. We fill every available moment with noise, with distraction, with information, with doing, yet we have it all backwards. Stillness is not an absence. It is a presence. It is not empty. It is the fullness from which all things are born. Stillness is the silent canvas upon which the masterpiece of creation is painted. It is the fertile darkness of the soil before the seed sprouts. It is the pause between the musical notes that gives the melody its beauty. It is the source of all true power, all true creativity, and all true wealth. To change your frequency, you must first return to the 0 point from which all frequencies emerge. You must enter the sacred vault of stillness. Let us explore this through our deepest metaphor yet. Imagine your mind, your consciousness, is a deep, clear lake. In its natural, undisturbed state, the surface of this lake is like glass. It is perfectly still, perfectly silent. It reflects the vast blue sky and the brilliant sun above without distortion. It mirrors truth. At the bottom of this pristine lake, there are treasures beyond measure. There are chests filled with shining jewels. These jewels are your innate qualities, your wisdom, your courage, your creativity, your unconditional love, your boundless joy, and your inherent, unquestionable worthiness. This is your true wealth. It is already there. It has always been there. It is not something you need to acquire. It is something you only need to uncover. But the lake rarely stays still. Two great winds perpetually blow across its surface. The first is the wind of desire. It is the wind of I need, I want, I must have. It whispers and sometimes screams about what is missing, what is lacking, what you must achieve to be happy. The second is the wind of fear. It is the wind of what if? What if I fail? What if they leave me? What if I lose what I have? What if I never get what I want? These two winds, desire and fear, whip the surface of the lake into a frenzy. The glass-like surface shatters into a million agitated waves, and as the waves churn, they stir up the sediment from the bottom of the lake, the mud and silt of your past conditioning, your old pains, your limiting beliefs. The water, once clear, now becomes murky, brown, and opaque. From the surface, you can no longer see the jewels at the bottom. You can no longer see the clear reflection of the sky above. All you can see and feel is the turbulent, muddy water. And in this state, you make a tragic mistake. You believe that the murky turmoil is the lake. You identify with the chaos. You forget all about the stillness, the clarity, and the treasure that lie just beneath the surface agitation. The practice of finding stillness is not about fighting the waves. It is not about commanding the wind to stop. It is the gentle, deliberate act of finding a quiet, sheltered cove within yourself where the winds cannot reach. It is the act of withdrawing your energy and attention from the winds of desire and fear so that they slowly, naturally die down on their own. This is the art of meditation. It is not an act of doing. It is an act of profound and powerful cessation. Let us enter that sacred vault together now. Wherever you are, allow your body to find a position of comfortable dignity. Seated or lying down, it does not matter. Just allow your spine to be relatively straight, creating a clear channel for energy. Allow your eyes to gently close. First, bring your awareness to your breath. Do not change it. Do not force it to be deep or slow. Simply observe it. Feel the sensation of the cool air entering your nostrils and the warm air leaving. Feel the gentle rise of your abdomen on the in-breath and the gentle fall on the out-breath. Your breath is your anchor. It is happening only in this present moment. The winds of fear and desire live in the past and the future. The breath is always, only, now. Let each breath anchor you more deeply in this sacred now. As thoughts arise, as they surely will, thoughts about money, about your to-do list, about a conversation yesterday, see them for what they are. They are simply clouds passing in the sky of your awareness. They are the winds beginning to stir. Do not follow them. Do not fight them. Do not judge yourself for having them. Simply notice them and gently, compassionately, guide your attention back to the physical sensation of your breath. You may have to do this 100 times. That is the practice. Each time you return to the breath, you are weakening the power of the wind. You are letting the sediment settle. Now, expand your awareness beyond the breath. Feel the life inside your body. Can you feel a subtle tingling, a gentle vibration, an aliveness in the palms of your hands? Rest your attention there. Can you feel that same energy in the soles of your feet, in your lips, in your entire body? This inner energy field is the antechamber to stillness. It is the direct, sensory experience of your own life force. It is real. It is present. It has no problems, no history, no future. It just is. Rest in this feeling of being alive. Sounds may come and go. The hum of a refrigerator, a car passing outside, the beating of your own heart. Let them be. Do not label them. Hear them simply as vibrations, as waves of sound washing through the silent space of your awareness. You are the space that holds the sound. You are not the sound itself. In this space, you are becoming the silent witness, the impartial observer, the part of you that is aware of your thoughts, but is not the thoughts, the part of you that is aware of your feelings, but is not the feelings, the part of you that is aware of your body, but is not the body. This is your true self. It is pure consciousness, and its nature is perfect, profound stillness. Rest here, in this vault. There is nothing to do, nothing to achieve, nothing to figure out. Simply be. Be the stillness, be the space, be the silence. Let the waves on the surface of the lake gently, slowly begin to subside. Let the muddy water slowly begin to clear. When we practice this regularly, even for just a few minutes a day, a miracle occurs. Your energetic signature begins to shift effortlessly. You are no longer trying to force your radio dial to 101 FM. By entering the stillness, you have returned to the source of the broadcast, and the dial naturally recalibrates to its home frequency of peace. From this peace, feelings of gratitude and worthiness arise spontaneously. They are not forced. They are the natural perfume of a soul at rest. Answers to your problems, which your frantic mind could never find, now bubble up effortlessly from the depth of your intuition. Your connection to the infinite intelligence of the universe is restored. You begin to glimpse the treasures at the bottom of the lake, a flicker of your own brilliance, a memory of your wholeness. But we must be honest on this sacred journey. We must be truthful about what we find. As the sediment of our frantic thinking finally begins to settle, as the water of the mind gains a clarity it has not known for years, we do not always see the shining jewels first. Often, the first things we see clearly are the forgotten objects lying on the lakebed, which the murky water had been hiding. We see the broken pottery of past hurts. We see the rusted chains of old, painful conditioning. And sometimes, if we look deeply enough, we can perceive a foundational crack in the very bedrock of the lake itself. This is the wound we did not create, but that we have inherited. Seeing this is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of profound success. It means the water is finally clear enough for the true healing to begin. We are now ready to look at this ancient crack without fear. We are ready to bring the light of our awareness to the oldest story of lack we carry. We are now ready to begin healing the ancestral wound of scarcity. We have returned from the sacred vault of stillness, from that silent, resonant space within. By allowing the frantic winds of thought to cease, by letting the muddy sediment of our mind settle, we have gifted ourselves a moment of true clarity. The waters of the lake have cleared, and in that clarity, we have begun to see what lies at the bottom. We have seen the flicker of our own inner treasure, but we have also seen something else. A deep, foundational crack in the bedrock. A persistent, low-level anxiety that feels older than our own life. A quiet sorrow, a feeling of being unsafe that has no logical root in our own direct experience. You have felt this, have you not? A financial fear that is disproportionate to your actual circumstances. A compulsive need to save and hoard that feels irrational. A deep, unshakable belief that disaster is always just around the corner. You may have thought this was your own personal neurosis, a flaw in your own character. But what if it is not yours? What if you are simply the final destination for a piece of emotional luggage sent from a long time ago? What if you are feeling the echo of a pain that is not your own? Today, we will bring the light of our compassionate awareness to this deep, foundational crack. Today, we will begin to heal the ancestral wound of scarcity. This is not a mystical fantasy. This is a profound, energetic truth. We inherit more than just the color of our eyes or the shape of our nose from our ancestors. We inherit their emotional and energetic blueprint. Modern science even has a name for this. It speaks of epigenetics, the discovery that profound experiences, especially trauma, can leave a chemical marker on our genes, influencing the behavior of future generations. Your grandmother's experience of a Great Depression, your great-grandfather's trauma of fleeing a war-torn land, these events were not just stories, they were earth-shattering realities that rewired their nervous systems for survival. Their bodies were flooded with the hormones of stress and fear, and that hypervigilance, that cellular memory of there is never enough, was passed down as a silent, invisible heirloom. It is an energetic legacy, woven into the very fabric of your being. Imagine your family line as a great river, flowing through time. The unresolved pains, the unspoken fears, the deep-seated traumas of one generation do not simply vanish. They dissolve into the water, flowing downstream and becoming part of the current for the next generation. And so it continues, until one day, a member of that lineage becomes conscious enough, courageous enough, to build a purification plant on the banks of that river. They have the wisdom to stop drinking the contaminated water and instead to see it, bless it, and filter it, so that the water flowing on from them is clear and pure once more. You are that person. Your awakening, your willingness to do this work, is not just for you. It is a gift to everyone who came before you, and everyone who will come after. The first and most vital step in this healing is to release all judgment and embrace honor. The wound of scarcity that you carry was not born of weakness. It was born of immense strength. It was not born of failure, but of a ferocious will to survive. The anxiety that now feels like a prison for you was once a life-saving tool for them. That hyper-vigilance, that fear of lack, is what made your ancestors work harder, save every crumb, and protect their children fiercely enough for the family line to reach you. Their fear was a form of love. Their anxiety was a shield. It was the necessary adaptation to a harsh and unforgiving world. The tragedy is not that they had this fear. The tragedy is that the fear outlived the threat. The survival software is still running, long after the emergency is over. Let us make this intensely real. Imagine an ancestor of yours. See them in your mind's eye, perhaps in a frozen, barren landscape, a land of harsh winters and uncertain harvests. See the lines of worry on their face as they look at their dwindling food supply. Feel the biting cold that seeps into their bones. For them, the fear of not enough is not an abstract concept. It is a daily life or death reality. To survive, this ancestor creates a magnificent, heavy winter coat. It is made of the skins of animals, stitched together with the sinews of resilience. The fur is thick with caution. The lining is padded with a deep mistrust of the world. The pockets are filled with the heavy stones of worry. This coat is cumbersome, it is stifling, but it is what allows them to endure the blizzard. It saves their life. And out of love, out of a desperate desire to protect their child from the cold they have known, they pass this coat down. Wear this, they say. It will keep you safe. And the child, loving and trusting, puts it on. And so it is passed, from generation to generation, a sacred but heavy inheritance. Now, see yourself, here, in this present moment. You may be living in a world of unprecedented abundance, a warm and sunny climate of opportunity, but you are still wearing that heavy, fur-lined winter coat. You are sweating, you are exhausted. You cannot run, you cannot dance, you cannot raise your arms to the sky in joyful celebration because you are constricted by this ancestral garment. You have wondered for so long why you are always so tired, so anxious, so burdened in a world where others seem to walk freely. It is the coat. It is a survival tool that is no longer suited to your environment. It has become a cage. Healing does not mean you tear the coat apart in anger. It does not mean you curse the ancestor who gave it to you. That would be an act of deep dishonor. Healing is a ceremony of love and release. It is the act of turning to the memory of that ancestor, looking them in the eyes, and speaking from your heart. It is saying, "Thank you. I see your struggle. I honor your strength. I understand that this heavy coat protected you. It allowed you to survive so that I could one day exist. The gift of my life is the ultimate proof of your success. And because I am safe now, because the winter of your world is over, I can finally, with the deepest love and respect, set this burden down. Let us do this together, now. Find a comfortable position, close your eyes, and take a deep, gentle breath. In the quiet space of your mind, invite the loving presence of your lineage, not as ghosts, but as the river of life that flows in your veins. Now, bring your awareness into your body. Locate that familiar feeling of financial anxiety. Where does it live? Is it a weight on your shoulders, a knot in your stomach, a tightness in your throat? Let yourself truly feel it. And as you do, recognize it for what it is. This is the coat. Feel its texture, its weight, its stifling heat. Now, in your mind's eye, see the faces of your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, stretching back into the mists of time. See them standing before you with love. Hold the coat in your hands, feel its weight, and speak to them silently from your heart. My dear ancestors, I see you, I honor you, I acknowledge the hardships you endured, the wars, the famines, the losses, the fears. Thank you for your incredible strength. Thank you for surviving. Thank you for the gift of my life. I carry your blood, and I carry your legacy of resilience. I also see that I have been carrying your pain. I have been wearing the heavy coat of your fear. I have been living in a winter that is no longer mine. Today, with the deepest love and gratitude, I release this. I give it back to the earth for transmutation. Your struggle is over, and through me, your pain is over too. I, now, with a slow, deliberate motion, feel yourself shrugging the coat off your shoulders. Feel its immense weight sliding from your body and falling to the ground. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, feel a lightness you have not felt in years. Feel the warm sun on your skin. Feel the gentle breeze. Feel the freedom of movement in your arms, in your shoulders, in your entire being. You are standing in your own climate, in your own time, finally unburdened. Look at your ancestors. See them smiling, not in sadness, but in relief. By healing yourself, you have healed them. The river, from this point on, flows clear. To carry an ancestral wound is to be an unconscious victim of the past. To heal an ancestral wound is to become a conscious creator of the future. You are now free to write a new story about prosperity. You are now free to build a new legacy, not of scarcity and fear, but of trust, flow, and grace. We have taken a monumental step. By lovingly and respectfully setting down this collective burden, we have cleared a vast, foundational layer of energetic debt. The space within us feels lighter, wider, more our own. And in this newfound clarity, as we continue to gaze into the clear waters of our inner lake, we may become aware of other, more personal objects lying on the bottom. We have honored the weight of our lineage. Now we must have the courage to face the burdens of our own lifetime. We must learn the art of releasing our own personal stories of loss, shame, and regret. We must learn the sacred art of forgiving the debts of the past. With love and reverence, we have gently taken off the heavy coat of our ancestors. We have honored their struggle and released their fear, and in doing so, a profound lightness has entered our being. The great collective weight has been lifted. The waters of our inner lake are clearer now, and the silence is deeper. And in this new, spacious clarity, our gaze is drawn to the other objects resting on the lakebed. These are not ancient heirlooms. They are sharper, more personal. They are the broken shards of our own stories. They are the debts of our own past. When we speak of debt, our mind immediately goes to money. But the financial debts are only the shallowest layer. The deeper debts, the ones that truly keep us in a state of energetic bankruptcy, are the debts of emotion. They are the relentless payments of energy we make every single day to the ghosts of yesterday. The primary currencies of this debt are regret and resentment. Every time you cringe at the memory of a failed business, you are paying the debt of regret. Every time you feel a surge of anger towards someone who wronged you financially, you are paying the debt of resentment. In these transactions, your precious, creative life force is the only currency being spent, and it is flowing ceaselessly into a past that cannot be changed. To achieve true prosperity, we must declare spiritual bankruptcy on these old accounts. We must forgive these debts, not because anyone else deserves it, but because we deserve to be free. Let us first turn our attention to the heaviest debt of all, for it is the one we hold against ourselves, the debt of regret. Bring to mind, if you are willing, a financial mistake from your past, a poor investment, an opportunity missed, a moment of foolish spending. Feel the familiar cringe, the heat of shame that rises in your chest. Hear the voice of the inner critic, that merciless prosecutor with its litany of if-onlys and I should haves. If only I had known better. I should have been smarter. How could I have been so stupid? This self-flagellation feels almost virtuous, as if by punishing ourselves enough, we can somehow atone for the past. But this is a cruel illusion. You are not atoning. You are merely reopening the wound, preventing it from ever truly healing. Here is a liberating truth you must allow to enter your heart. The person who made that decision is not the person you are today. You are judging a former version of yourself with a level of awareness you did not possess at the time. Your present self, the one listening to these words, has the benefit of hindsight. You have the wisdom that came from the very mistake you are condemning. To judge your past self with your present knowledge is a logical fallacy and a form of spiritual violence. That person, that former you, was doing the absolute best they could with the consciousness, the knowledge, the emotional state, and the pressures they were under in that moment. Let us practice a radical act of self-empathy. Close your eyes, visualize that past self. At the very moment they were making that decision you so deeply regret. Do not see them as a fool. See them with compassion. See the hope they had. See the fear that was driving them. See the information they didn't have. See the societal or family pressure they were under. See their innocence. See them not as a failure, but as a younger version of you, a spiritual younger sibling who was simply trying to navigate a complex world with the tools they had. Now, extend your hands to that person. See your wise, present self embracing that struggling former self. And from your heart, offer these words. I see you. I see your struggle. I release you from the burden of my judgment. You did the best you could with what you knew. The lesson has been learned. The price has been paid. You are forgiven. You are free. Breathe deeply. Feel the release as you call your energy back from that painful memory. You cannot change the past, but you can change your relationship to it. By forgiving your past self, you are not condoning the mistake. You are integrating its wisdom and releasing its pain. You are closing an account that has been draining your energy for far too long. Your hands, once clenched in a fist of self-blame, can now begin to open. Now, let us turn to the other great debt, the one that can feel even more intractable, the debt of resentment. This is the energy we bind to others, the business partner who cheated you, the friend who never paid back the loan, the family member who took advantage of your generosity, the faceless system that you feel betrayed you. The sense of injustice here is powerful. The anger feels righteous. And your mind will tell you that to forgive them is to let them win, to say that what they did was okay. This is the greatest lie that the ego tells to keep you chained to pain. Forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person. It is not for them. It is a profoundly selfish act of personal liberation. Imagine that resentment is a burning hot coal. You picked it up the moment the injustice occurred, and you have been holding it in your hand ever since, convinced that your searing anger is somehow punishing the person who wronged you. You pace back and forth, your hand burning, your mind consumed with the fire, waiting for the perfect moment to throw it and get your revenge. But look around. The other person is gone. They are living their life. They may not even remember what they did. They do not feel the heat of your coal. The only person being burned, the only person whose life is consumed by the fire, is you. Forgiveness is not about condoning their action. It is not about reconciling with them. It is simply the sane and logical act of dropping the hot coal. It is deciding that your peace of mind is more important than their punishment. Let us practice this release now. Close your eyes once more. Bring to mind a person or situation towards which you hold financial resentment. Allow yourself to feel the anger, the hurt, the sense of betrayal. Acknowledge the validity of these feelings. They are real. Now, visualize an energetic cord extending from your solar plexus, your center of personal power, and connecting to that person or situation. See this cord. See your precious golden life force your creativity, your joy, your peace draining out of you through this cord and feeding a dead past. This is the price of resentment. Now, in your mind's eye, Imagine a magnificent pair of golden scissors appearing in your hand. These are the scissors of sovereign choice. They are sharp and decisive. As you hold them, say these words, silently or aloud, with conviction. I acknowledge the pain that was caused. I validate my feelings of hurt and anger. But I no longer agree to sacrifice my present peace for the battles of the past. My energy is my most sacred resource, and I now reclaim it. This is not for you. This is for me. Now, with a clear and decisive motion, see yourself cutting that cord. Snip. Hear the sound. See the cord falling away, dissolving into nothingness. And feel your golden energy, which was flowing outwards, now rushing back into your own center. Feel it filling your solar plexus with warmth, with power, with wholeness. Take a deep breath and feel the integrity of your own energetic field, now intact. You have not let them off the hook. You have taken yourself off their hook. You have dropped the coal. Your hands are now cool, calm, and empty. We have performed a sacred and necessary clearing. We have laid down the heavy coat of our ancestors. We have dropped the hot coals of our own personal history. We have closed the accounts of regret and resentment. Our hands, for the first time in a long time, are truly free. Our energy, once scattered across the timelines of the past and entangled with the stories of others, has been recalled to our own sovereign center. We are whole. We are present. And in this state of newfound freedom and energetic integrity, we are finally ready to realize a truth that has been waiting patiently for us all along. With these free and open hands, we are not meant to plead with the universe for scraps. We are not meant to be beggars for abundance. We are meant to be its creators. We are ready to understand that we are not the seeker of wealth. You are its source. You are the mint. Breathe into this new space, a space cleared of ancestral weight, a space cleansed of the hot coals of regret and resentment. Feel the wholeness of your own energy, recalled from the past, now humming with potential in the sacred vessel of your body. Your hands are open. Your heart is calm. You have passed through the great purification, and now you stand at the threshold of the great creation. For years, perhaps for your entire life, you have operated under a single, fundamental paradigm, the paradigm of the chase, chasing security, chasing approval, chasing money. You have seen yourself as a seeker, a pursuer, a small entity trying to get a piece of a finite pie. Today we shatter that paradigm. We perform the most radical act of spiritual rebellion. We stop chasing, we turn around, and we begin to build. For too long, you have believed that value is something external to you. You believe a company gives you a salary. You believe a client gives you a fee. You have seen yourself as a supplicant at the door of the economy, hoping someone will deem you worthy enough to let you in and give you some of their money. This is the foundational illusion that has kept humanity in a state of quiet desperation. Let us dismantle it right now. A company does not give you value. A client does not bestow worthiness upon you. They are engaging in an exchange. They are offering a symbol money in return for the immense, pre-existing, and vital value that you bring into the room. The value originates with you. It was there before the job offer. It will be there long after the job is gone. You have been mistaking the symbol of exchange for the source of the value itself. So, what is this value? Where does it reside? You have been taught to believe your value lies in your skills, your time, your labor. But these are just the channels. These are the pipes through which the water flows, but they are not the water itself. Your true, inexhaustible value lies in something much deeper. It lies in your being. Your value is your unique consciousness. In the entire history of the cosmos, there has never been, and will never be, another consciousness that sees the world through your precise set of eyes, with your unique combination of experiences, thoughts, and feelings. This singular perspective is an asset of astronomical value. Your value is your life force. It is the focused attention you can bring to a task. It is the care you can infuse into a project. It is the calm you can bring to a chaotic meeting. This animating energy is the true currency that fuels all human enterprise. Your value is your creativity. It is that divine, mysterious ability to connect two disparate ideas and form a new solution. It is the capacity to bring forth something from the unmanifested realm of thought into the world of form. It a line of code, a beautiful garden, a well-organized spreadsheet, or a comforting meal. Your skills are merely the language your value has learned to speak. Your time is merely the container you choose to pour your value into. But you are the source. You are the wellspring. The world has not been giving you value. The world has been desperately seeking the value that you, and beings like you, naturally emanate. Let us abandon the old metaphor of the chase and embrace a new one, that of the tree. For most of your life, you have been living as a leaf chaser. You have been running frantically around the base of a great tree, trying to catch the leaves, the dollar bills, the job opportunities, the clients as they fall. It is an exhausting, stressful existence. You are always at the mercy of the wind. You are always competing with other leaf chasers. Your focus is entirely external, fixed on the transient, fleeting leaves, and you are in a constant state of anxiety, always feeling like you are missing out. The great shift in consciousness, the shift we are making in this very moment, is to stop chasing the leaves. It is to ignore the wind. It is to turn your back on the frantic chase and to turn your attention to the tree itself. It is the realization that you are the tree. Your body is the trunk. Your connection to the earth, your inner life, is your root system. Your consciousness is the life-giving sap. When you make this shift, your primary question is no longer, how can I catch more leaves? The question becomes, how can I become the most healthy, vibrant, and nourished tree possible? You focus on your own being. You water your own roots with stillness and self-care. You draw sunlight into your being through joy and inspiration. You tend to your own inner world. And what is the natural, inevitable result of a healthy, vibrant tree? It grows leaves. It does not have to try. It does not struggle or strive to produce them. The leaves are the effortless, automatic, and abundant byproduct of its own inner state of health. Abundance in your life is the same. Money, opportunities, and beautiful experiences are the leaves. They are not the goal. They are the evidence. They are the natural consequence of you focusing on the vitality and authenticity of your own being. The old, disempowering question was, what do I need to do to get money? The new, sovereign question is, who must I be so that value flows through me so powerfully that money becomes its natural echo? This brings us to our ultimate realization. This is the declaration of your spiritual and financial sovereignty. You are the mint. Think of what a mint is. A mint is not a place that finds money. It does not beg for money or chase it. A mint is the officially sanctioned source. It is the place where value is transformed into currency. It is where raw, unrefined potential is stamped with authority and sent out into the world. You are a sovereign mint. The endless reserves of gold within you are your unique consciousness, your creativity, your life force. You have the inherent authority to stamp this inner gold with the seal of your intention and to mint the currency of your life. The world is not your employer. The world is your marketplace. It is waiting for the unique currency that only you can create. To live as the mint is to stop waiting for permission. It is to stop waiting to be picked, to be chosen, to be validated by an external source. It is the deep, cellular knowing that your very presence is an economic event. Your ideas are capital. Your energy is an asset. Your unique genius is the real legal tender. Let us anchor this realization in a tangible way. Take a moment. What are the qualities of your being that are intrinsically valuable? And do not list your job skills. Go deeper. Are you resilient? That is value. Are you compassionate? That is value. Are you a person who brings calm to chaos? A person who can see the bigger picture? A person who is ferociously loyal? A person who can find humor in dark times? This is your true portfolio. This is the gold in your vault. Feel the energy of these qualities. This is your capital. This is the wealth you already possess in immeasurable quantities. It is the raw material you will use to mint your new reality. You are not starting from scratch. You are starting from a place of profound and overflowing wealth. You have now reclaimed your power. You have understood that you are not the chaser but the source. You are not the leaf but the tree. You are not the beggar but the mint. Your focus has shifted permanently from the outer world of effects to the inner world of cause. And so, as the conscious creator, as the gardener of your own magnificent tree, the next logical question arises: how do I best nourish this tree? What is the golden, supercharged fertilizer that will feed my roots, strengthen my trunk, and ensure the most vibrant, abundant, and effortless growth of leaves? The universe, in its grace, has provided a simple and profoundly powerful nutrient. It is a practice. It is a mindset. It is a state of being. It is the master key to accelerating your alignment with all good things. We must now explore the sacred art and the practical magic of the highest frequency a human can embody. We must learn the alchemy of gratitude. We have arrived at a place of immense power. We have turned our gaze inward and realized the profound truth. You are the tree. You are the mint. You are the source of the very value you once sought externally. With this life-altering realization, our central question has shifted from "what must I do to get?" to "who must I be to allow?" You understand now that your primary work as a conscious creator is to tend to the health and vitality of your own being, your own magnificent tree. And so, we ask the gardener's most practical question: what is the most potent nutrient for the soul? What is the golden fertilizer that will nourish our roots, enrich our soil, and guarantee an abundant and effortless flowering of leaves in our life? The answer is a word you have heard 1,000 times. It is a concept so widely discussed that it is at risk of losing its power through cliché. That word is gratitude. But we are not here to speak of the mechanical gratitude of polite thank yous or the dutiful listing of 3 things in a journal before bed. These are merely the shadows of the real thing. We are here to uncover the living, breathing, energetic reality behind the word. We are here to learn the sacred and transformative practice of alchemical gratitude. Alchemy is the ancient art of transmutation, of turning base metal into gold. Alchemical gratitude is the spiritual art of transmuting the reality you have into the reality you desire. And it does so by working with the fundamental laws of energy we have discussed. Here is the secret that separates mundane gratitude from alchemical gratitude. Gratitude is not a reaction to receiving. Gratitude is the cause of receiving. It is the energetic state you must embody before the evidence of abundance appears. Let us revisit our radio. We know that abundance, joy, and peace exist on a high frequency, 101 FM. We know that lack, fear, and worry exist on a low frequency, 88 FM. Gratitude is the clearest, strongest, most coherent signal you can possibly transmit on 101 FM. It is the carrier wave of prosperity. Why? Because the universe is a resonant mirror. It does not respond to your words. It responds to your vibration. When you are in a state of genuine, heartfelt gratitude, what is the energetic message you are sending? You are broadcasting with every cell of your being the feeling of, I have enough, I am cared for, I am already receiving goodness. all is well. When you transmit this powerful, coherent signal of sufficiency, the resonant mirror of the universe has no choice but to reflect back to you more circumstances that match that feeling. It must bring you more evidence of enough, more proof that you are cared for, more experiences of goodness. You are not being rewarded for good manners. You are receiving the lawful and impersonal reflection of your own emitted energy. This is why conditional gratitude, "I'll be grateful when," is utterly powerless. To say, "I will feel grateful when I get the promotion," is to broadcast the frequency of not having the promotion. It is a declaration of lack, thinly veiled in positive language. True alchemy requires that you generate the feeling first. You are the energetic cause. The physical manifestation is the effect. Let's examine the signal of the average person. In their mind, they may say, "I'm grateful for the food on my table." But as they say it, their heart is pounding with anxiety about the credit card bill. Their stomach is in a knot over an upcoming confrontation. Their mind is racing with a dozen worries. Their words say gratitude, but their body, their energy, their true broadcast is screaming fear, lack, anxiety. This is a garbled, noisy, static-filled signal. It is a mixed message. And a mixed message can only ever create a mixed and chaotic reality. Alchemical gratitude is the practice of creating a pure, clear, powerful signal, even if only for a few moments. It is about finding one single, undeniable truth in your present moment and amplifying its grateful frequency until it becomes your dominant vibration. It is about quality over quantity. A single 60-second moment of profound, embodied gratitude for the taste of clean water is infinitely more powerful than a 3-page list of things you think you should be grateful for, written from a state of anxiety. The universe responds to the clarity of the signal, not the volume of the words. Let us engage in this alchemy right now. This is not an intellectual exercise. It is a somatic, embodied experience. Put aside the idea of a list. We are going hunting for one small, perfect coin of gold. In your immediate environment, or in your memory of the day so far, find one tiny thing that is undeniably good. It must be simple. Do not choose something big and abstract like my health or my family if you are not genuinely feeling it right now. Choose something small and sensory, the warmth of the mug in your hands, the intricate pattern on a leaf outside your window, the feeling of a soft blanket on your skin, the loyal sleeping presence of a pet, the first perfect sip of tea or coffee. Find your one small gold coin. Now, once you have it, we will not just think about it, we will experience it. If it is the warmth of the mug, truly feel the heat seeping into your palms. If it is a sound, truly listen to its texture and tone. If it is a taste, let it linger on your tongue. Immerse your senses in the reality of this one good thing. As you do this, ask your body, where does the feeling of appreciation for this live? Is it a warmth that begins in your chest, a gentle expansion in your solar plexus, a softening around your eyes? Locate the physical sensation of this simple gratitude. It may be subtle at first, but it is there. Now, breathe into it. Imagine that with every in-breath, you are fanning this tiny ember of good feeling. And with every out-breath, you are allowing it to expand. See it as a warm, golden light, growing from a small point in your body and slowly beginning to fill your entire inner space. Feel this golden light of gratitude dissolving any pockets of tension, any knots of worry. For these few moments, there is only the reality of this one good thing and your appreciation for it. This is the alchemy. You have taken a simple base metal cup of coffee and transmuted it into the pure gold of a high vibrational state. You are now broadcasting a clear, powerful signal on 101 FM. Now, the key is to hold it. Sustain this feeling. Stay with the warmth. the light, the peace, for another 30 seconds, another minute. By consciously sustaining the feeling, you are training your body and your energetic field that this is a state that is safe, familiar, and desirable. You are making it a part of your energetic signature. To practice this once a day is to change your life. To practice it multiple times a day is to remake your world. It is to become a conscious gardener who deliberately and lovingly applies this golden fertilizer to the roots of their being. The final stage of this alchemy is to learn to find gratitude even for the unwanted. This is the master practice. It is not to be grateful for the painful experience, but to be grateful for the gifts it brought in disguise. Gratitude for the strength you discovered you had during a crisis. Gratitude for the toxic relationship that taught you how to finally value yourself. Gratitude for the job you lost, because it pushed you onto a new path that was more authentically you. This is the ultimate power of transmutation, the ability to look at the lead of your past suffering and find the hidden gold of wisdom within it. This is when you know you are no longer a victim of your life, but its master alchemist. When you live from this state of gratitude, you become an energetic magnet for more experiences that match it. The universe flows towards appreciation, your constant, sincere out-breath of thanks, of acknowledging the good that is already here, creates a powerful spiritual dynamic. It creates a space, a vacuum, and the universe, which abhors a vacuum, rushes to fill the space you have created with more gifts, more opportunities, more grace. But this raises a crucial point. The act of giving thanks must be balanced by the ability to take in. The out-breath of gratitude must be met by a full in-breath of acceptance. To receive the blessings that the universe is now sending you, in response to your grateful signal, you must be open. Your hands must be ready. Your heart must be willing. This brings us to a beautiful and often surprisingly difficult skill on the mystical path to prosperity. We must now learn the art of sacred receiving. We have steeped our souls in the golden light of alchemical gratitude. We have learned that giving thanks is not a polite response, but a powerful, creative act. It is the conscious broadcasting of the frequency of abundance. Gratitude is the sacred out-breath of the prosperous soul, the exhale that says to the universe, "I see the goodness that is already here." This out-breath is powerful. It clears a space. It creates a vacuum. And the universe, which is infinitely generous and abhors a vacuum, immediately rushes to fill that space with more goodness, more grace, more opportunities. But here we arrive at a critical and often surprisingly difficult part of our journey. The out-breath must be met by an in-breath. The act of giving thanks must be balanced by the art of taking in. To become a true conduit for prosperity, it is not enough to be a grateful giver. You must also become a graceful receiver. This is the other half of the breath of life, the part many of us have been unconsciously holding for years. Today, we learn the gentle, courageous, and profoundly necessary art of sacred receiving. Perhaps you recognize yourself in this description. You are the helper, the giver, the strong one. You are the first to offer assistance and the last to ask for it. You find immense joy in doing for others, but feel a deep and profound discomfort when the flow is reversed. When someone offers you a heartfelt compliment, do you deflect it with a self-deprecating joke? When someone offers you help, is your first instinct to say, "No, I'm fine"? When a gift or an opportunity comes to you seemingly out of nowhere, is there a part of you that feels suspicious, guilty, or unworthy of it? If so, you are not alone. This is one of the most subtle and powerful blocks to prosperity, especially for kind and spiritual people. Why do we do this? Why do we push away the very goodness we are asking for? There are several deep-seated reasons, old programs running in our energetic system. The first and most profound is the wound of unworthiness. Deep down, in a place we rarely admit to ourselves, There is a persistent belief that we are not truly good enough. So when the universe presents us with evidence to the contrary, a gift, a miracle, an act of grace, it creates a painful cognitive dissonance. The gift says, "You are worthy." Our inner belief says, "No, I am not." To resolve this conflict, the ego will choose to maintain its old story. It will reject the gift in order to prove its belief in its own unworthiness. It is a tragic act of self-sabotage performed in the name of consistency. The second reason is a deep fear of indebtedness. We have been trained in a transactional world. We believe there is no such thing as a free lunch. So when a gift is offered freely, a silent calculator starts running in our minds. What will they want from me later? What are the hidden strings? To receive feels like a loss of power, a surrender of our autonomy. And so, we refuse the gift to maintain our illusion of control, and in doing so, we shut down the flow of grace. A third reason, especially common among empaths, is the guilt of having more. We look at the suffering in the world, and we feel a sense of guilt for our own blessings. We operate under a finite pie fallacy, believing that our abundance somehow takes away from someone else. To avoid the discomfort of this guilt, we unconsciously keep ourselves at a level of just enough, deflecting any extra that comes our way. Finally, many of us have built our entire identity around being the giver. It feels noble, strong, and in control. To receive, on the other hand, feels vulnerable. It means acknowledging that we have needs. It means allowing someone else to be the strong one for a moment. For an ego built on the pride of self-sufficiency, receiving can feel like a threat. Let us use a simple metaphor. Imagine that the universe is in a constant state of showering down blessings. Every single moment, a gentle rain of grace is falling. It comes in many forms: a loving word, a helpful idea, a synchronicity, a financial opportunity, a moment of unexpected beauty. It is always raining abundance. Now, imagine you are standing in this downpour, but you are holding a large umbrella, and you are holding it upside down. The handle is pointing to the sky, and the wide dome is facing the ground. What happens when the raindrops of grace fall? They hit the slick, inverted surface of your umbrella and slide right off, splashing uselessly at your feet. You are standing in the middle of a life-giving storm, yet you remain perfectly dry, complaining to the heavens about your thirst. This upside-down umbrella is your posture of non-receiving. It is your unworthiness, your fear, your guilt, your pride. The art of sacred receiving is not about learning how to make it rain. The rain is already falling. The art is simply to have the courage to turn your umbrella right side up. It is the simple, conscious, and vulnerable act of shifting your posture from one of defensive deflection to one of open acceptance. It is to look up at the sky and say, "Yes, I am willing to be blessed." Now, let us practice the feeling of this. Start with something simple. Think of the last genuine compliment you received. Perhaps someone praised your work or told you that you looked nice. What was your immediate, gut-level reaction? Did you minimize it? Oh, it was nothing. Did you deflect it? Oh, this old thing. Did you argue with it? No, not really. I actually messed up this other part. Now, let us rerun that scene in the theater of your mind. See the person offering you the same compliment. This time, I want you to do something different. Take a slow breath in. Look them in the eye. Let their words land on you, like warm rain, and simply say, "Thank you, I received that." Feel the difference in your body. It might feel awkward, it might feel vulnerable. But underneath that, can you feel a quiet strength, a sense of self-respect? That is the feeling of turning your umbrella over. We can train our nervous system to do this. We can create a new habit of receiving. Throughout your day, whenever something good happens, no matter how small, someone lets you merge in traffic, you find a perfect parking spot. A beautiful song comes on the radio. I invite you to perform a small, silent ritual. Place a hand on your heart, take a breath, and whisper to yourself, I receive this. Thank you. You are teaching your body, cell by cell, that it is safe to receive goodness. You are rewiring your being to accept grace as your natural state. Furthermore, we must reframe the act of receiving itself. We think of it as a selfish act, but it is, in fact, an act of generosity. When you deflect or refuse a genuine gift, you rob the giver of the joy of giving. You break the sacred circuit of generosity. When you receive with an open, grateful heart, you give the other person the gift of experiencing their own abundance and kindness. Your graceful receiving completes the circle. It is a gift you give to them. Now, let us do a final visualization to anchor this new, balanced way of being. Close your eyes. See yourself standing as a beautiful, radiant channel of light. Your feet are rooted in the earth, and your head reaches to the sky. Focus on your breath. As you exhale, imagine a beautiful stream of grateful golden light flowing out from your heart into the world. This is your gratitude. This is your giving. Now, as you inhale, imagine a stream of brilliant, diamond-white light flowing down from the universe above, through the crown of your head, and filling your entire being. This is grace. This is abundance. This is your receiving. Just breathe like this for a few moments. The golden out-breath of gratitude, the diamond in-breath of receiving. Feel the perfect, balanced, circular flow. You are not just a giver, you are not just a taker, you are a conduit. You are a living, breathing circuit of universal abundance. We have now learned to breathe. The out-breath of gratitude and the in-breath of receiving have become one fluid, balanced motion. The current of prosperity can now flow through us, not just from us or to us. As this flow increases in our lives, we will find that gifts and opportunities arrive in many forms, some we expect, and some that are completely surprising. This requires the next level of spiritual maturity, the next step in our evolution as conscious creators. We must learn to participate joyfully in this divine flow, to act with our whole hearts, while simultaneously releasing our desperate attachment to the specific shape, timing, and form of the results. We must learn the profound freedom, the ultimate power that comes from the practice of detachment from the fruit of action. We have learned to breathe, the sacred out-breath of gratitude and the sacred in-breath of receiving. You are becoming a balanced, harmonious circuit for the energy of prosperity to flow through. As you continue to practice this, you will notice the flow of your life begins to quicken. Synchronicities appear more frequently, opportunities begin to present themselves. The gifts of the universe, which were always raining down, are now being caught in your open hands. And this new state of flow can, paradoxically, create a new and more subtle form of anxiety. It is the anxiety of expectation. The ego, which has been quieted through our healing work, sees this new flow and tries to reclaim control. It begins to ask, now that I am doing all of this correctly, when will my reward arrive? I have been grateful. I have been open to receiving. Where is my $1 million? Where is my perfect relationship? It begins to fixate on specific outcomes, specific timelines, specific forms. It attempts to turn this beautiful, fluid dance with the universe back into a rigid, transactional contract. This is the final and most sophisticated trap on the path to true abundance. The antidote to this trap is the embodiment of a profound spiritual principle, one that is spoken of in the greatest wisdom traditions, from the Bhagavad Gita to the teachings of the Stoics. It is the practice of detachment from the fruit of action. Let us be impeccably clear. Detachment is not indifference. Indifference is a low-energy state of apathy. It says, I don't care what happens, so I will do nothing. It is a form of checking out, of resignation. Detachment is a high-energy state of enlightened engagement. It says, I will pour every ounce of my love, my presence, and my excellence into this action, and I will gracefully and peacefully accept whatever outcome arises, trusting that it is for my highest good. Indifference is the posture of a victim. Detachment is the posture of a master. The master craftsperson finds their joy not in the sale of the finished table, but in the scent of the wood, the perfect fit of the joint, the smooth finish under their hand. The joy is in the doing, not in the getting. Why is this detachment so crucial? Because attachment to a specific outcome is the most powerful way to block the flow of abundance. Firstly, it creates immense energetic resistance. Attachment is a tense, grasping, controlling energy. It is the frequency of force. It screams at the universe, "It must happen this way and in this time frame." This rigid, desperate energy creates an energetic bottleneck. The universe, which is fluid, creative, and infinitely intelligent, cannot flow through a constricted, fearful channel. You are trying to force a mighty river through a tiny, crooked pipe. Secondly, attachment is a powerful broadcast of lack. The very act of desperately needing a certain outcome is a vibrational declaration that you are not whole and complete without it. It is another version of the prison of enough. It reinforces the feeling of separation between you and your good. It is a needy, anxious frequency, and it can only attract more experiences that generate feelings of neediness and anxiety. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, your attachment to one specific outcome dramatically limits the creativity of the universe. You, with your finite mind, have decided there is only one door that leads to your happiness getting this specific job, for instance. But the universe, with its infinite intelligence, can see 1,000 other doors. Perhaps there is a much better job waiting for you down the hall. Perhaps the universe wants to give you the resources to start your own business, an outcome your mind had not even considered. Perhaps the failure to get that job is the greatest blessing of your life, as it will set you on a path to something far more fulfilling. Your attachment to that one single door blinds you to the magnificent palace of possibilities that surrounds you. Let us use the metaphor of the gardener. Imagine two people planting a seed. The first is the tyrant gardener. He plants the seed and then stands over the spot, consumed with anxiety. He shouts at the soil, "Grow! Why aren't you growing?" The seed packet said 10 days. It's been 10 days and 1 hour. You must grow now, and you must look exactly like the perfect flower on the packet. He gets down on his knees and tries to dig away the soil to see if it's working. He might even try to pull on the first tiny sprout to make it grow faster. His energy is one of fear, control, and distrust. He is in constant turmoil, and his frantic, controlling energy actually stresses the environment and inhibits the plant's growth. This is how we act when we are attached to the fruit of our action. The second person is the wise farmer. She too chooses the best soil and the finest seed. She prepares the ground with love and presence. She plants the seed at the perfect depth. She provides it with the perfect amount of water. She does her part of the work with absolute excellence and full engagement. And then she lets go. She stands up, wipes the soil from her hands, and walks away. She trusts. She trusts in the laws of nature. She trusts the sun, the rain, and the mysterious intelligence that turns a tiny, dormant seed into a magnificent plant. She knows that she has done her part, and now the universe must do its part. She does not worry about the exact moment of sprouting. She does not demand the plant look a certain way. Her peace comes from the knowing that she has performed her actions perfectly, and she has surrendered the outcome to a power greater than her ego. This is the posture of detachment. She finds her joy in the tilling, the planting, the watering in the process itself. The harvest is a welcome consequence, not the sole source of her fulfillment. So how do we become the wise farmer in our own lives? We can practice an act of what is called intelligent surrender. Let us do this now. Bring to mind something you are currently working towards. A financial goal, a creative project, a relationship outcome. Feel the energy of your desire for it. Notice if there is any tension, any grasping, any sense of, I need this to happen to be okay. Now, in your mind, consciously separate the action from the outcome. On one hand, you have the work that is in your control. The emails to write, the calls to make, the proposal to draft, the conversation to have. This is your sacred duty, your part of the dance. On the other hand, you have the result, which is not in your control. The client saying yes, the specific amount of money, the other person's reaction. Visualize the outcome. See it clearly in your mind. Now, imagine placing this entire desired outcome into a beautiful, shimmering sphere of light. See it floating in front of you. It contains all your hopes, all your dreams, all your expectations for this situation. Now, with a feeling of profound trust, offer this sphere up to the universe. Lift it up to the sky and simply let it go. Watch it float away, knowing it has been received by an intelligence far greater than your own. As you release it, say these words in your heart. I have done my part with love and excellence. I now release the form, the timing, and the method of the outcome to the wisdom of the universe. I am open to this, or something even better for all concerned. My peace is not in the result, but in the integrity of my action and the depth of my trust. Feel the immediate shift in your body. The tension in your shoulders releases, your jaw softens, your breath deepens. The frantic energy of the tyrant gardener is replaced by the serene confidence of the wise farmer. Now, with the burden of the outcome released, you can bring your full, joyful, and peaceful attention to the very next step in front of you. The work is no longer a stressful means to an end. It becomes a meditation, a prayer in action, a joyful expression of your value, offered to the world with no strings attached. This is true freedom. To live this way, to dance with life with such engaged surrender, requires a level of faith that may feel daunting. To let go of the reins, to release our cherished outcomes to a power greater than our own ego, is almost impossible if you believe you are living in a random, chaotic, or uncaring universe. You can only truly surrender when you know, in the very marrow of your bones, that the system is not rigged against you, but is in fact exquisitely designed for your growth and success. This detachment is only possible when you believe that every act of value is noted, every expression of love is recorded, and that cosmic justice is a fundamental law. It is only possible when you come to see the universe as your grand ledger. We have arrived at the high plateau of spiritual maturity. We have learned to act with our full hearts, to pour our love and excellence into the present moment, and to then release the outcome to the universe. We have learned to become the wise farmer who does their work perfectly and then trusts in the laws of nature. But this practice of detachment, this radical act of letting go, can feel like a terrifying freefall for the ego. The ego, the survival-oriented part of our mind, screams in protest. If I let go of control, who will ensure I get what is mine? If I don't fight for my share, won't I be forgotten? Won't I be cheated? To truly embody detachment, to live in that serene state of engaged trust, requires a faith that is bone deep. It requires an unshakable belief in the fundamental justice and intelligence of the cosmos. Today, we cultivate that faith. We do this by understanding the magnificent, infallible, and benevolent accounting system that underpins all of reality. We come to see the universe as your grand ledger. Our human world operates on a model of direct transaction. It is a simple, linear, and deeply limited understanding of flow. This model says, I give my time and energy to this specific company, therefore, this specific company must give me money in return. It says, I loaned $100 to this specific person, therefore this specific person must return that $100 to me. When this direct, one-to-one exchange breaks down when the company lays us off, or the friend fails to repay, the loaner world is thrown into chaos. We feel cheated, victimized, and resentful. We believe the system is broken and unjust. But the system is not broken. Our understanding of the system is simply too small. We have been trying to understand quantum physics with kindergarten arithmetic. The universe does not operate on a model of direct, bilateral transactions. It operates on a model of holistic, systemic balance. Imagine a vast, shimmering, infinite ledger, a book of life whose pages are the fabric of space-time itself. This is the grand ledger. It is not a physical book, but an energetic reality, a perfect law of cause and effect. Some traditions call it karma, others call it divine providence. For our purposes, it is simply the flawless accounting system of an intelligent universe. Every single act of value you contribute to the web of life is recorded as a credit in this grand ledger. Every time you perform your work with a spirit of excellence, even when no one is watching, a golden entry is made. Every time you share an idea freely, offer a kind word to a struggling stranger, or extend compassion when it is easier to judge, a credit is registered. Every time you take a moment to create beauty, to restore order, to bring a moment of peace or laughter to another, the universe, as a vast, interconnected consciousness, takes note. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is ever missed. The universe is a far more meticulous bookkeeper than any human could ever be. This ledger always balances. This is not a threat of punishment, but a promise of equilibrium. Every output of energy must eventually be met with an equal input. The value you give out must be returned to you. The critical piece we must understand is that the return rarely comes from the same channel through which you gave. To insist on this is the source of all our disappointment. Let us abandon our transactional model and embrace a new metaphor. Imagine you have a cup of pure, fresh water, representing the value you have to offer your time, your creativity, your love. In the old transactional model, you try to trade this cup of water directly for a piece of bread from one specific person. If they refuse the trade, you feel you have lost. You are still thirsty, and now you are resentful. Your world has shrunk to this one failed transaction. Now, consider the new model, the model of the grand ledger. You stand at the edge of a vast, magnificent ocean. You take your cup of pure water, your act of value, and you pour it into the ocean. As you pour, you let it go completely. You do not try to track those specific water molecules. You do not stand by the shore and demand that the ocean give you back that exact same cup of water. Your act is one of complete and total trust in the integrity of the whole system. What happens when you add your cup of water to the ocean? You have contributed to the volume of the entire body of water. You have, in your own small but significant way, raised the level of the entire ocean. And as the timeless proverb says, a rising tide lifts all boats. Your own boat, which is floating on this very same ocean, is inevitably and automatically lifted by the rising tide. The universe repays your contribution not by handing you back your empty cup filled with the same water, but by elevating the entire context of your life. The return on your investment comes, but often from the most unexpected directions. You spend weeks helping a colleague on a project for no extra pay, a pure act of giving value. A month later, that colleague leaves the company, and you feel foolish. The direct transaction failed, but in the background, the grand ledger was at work. The colleague, in their new job, mentions your talent and work ethic to their new boss. An incredible job offer, far better than anything you could have imagined, appears for you out of the blue. The universe has balanced the books. You loan money to a family member who never repays you. You feel the sting of betrayal. You could spend years in resentment, or you can consciously turn the account over to the grand ledger. You release the person from the debt, and you trust the universe. A few months later, an idea for a creative project downloads into your mind with startling clarity. A project that ends up bringing you 10 times the amount of the original loan. The universe has balanced the books. Your trust in the system allowed it to deliver your good through a much bigger, more expansive channel than the one your ego was fixated on. To live with this understanding is to experience a profound sense of peace and security. It liberates you from the exhausting role of being your own personal debt collector. It frees you from the corrosive acid of resentment. When you feel wronged or unappreciated, you can perform a sacred ritual in your mind. You can say, "I have given value. My part is done. I now turn this account over to the grand ledger of the universe. For balancing, I release the other person from the obligation, and I trust in the system to restore my balance in the perfect way and at the perfect time." This is an act of incredible power. It keeps your own energy field clean and open to receive. Let us practice this now. Close your eyes. Bring to mind a time when you gave value in your work, in a relationship, in your community, and it was not acknowledged or reciprocated. Feel that familiar sting of injustice, of being overlooked. It is a real and valid feeling. Acknowledge it. Now, see before you the shimmering, infinite pages of the grand ledger. See your act of giving, your contribution of value, being inscribed on the page in beautiful, glowing, golden ink. See the universe registering your credit with perfect clarity. Now, make a conscious choice. You are going to release the need for the return to come from the person or situation that you feel owes you. You are handing the entire file over to the master accountant of the universe. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, say in your heart, "I trust in the perfect accounting of the universe. All that I give is seen and recorded. I now release all expectation, and I open myself to receive my good from any channel the universe chooses. I am safe. The system is just. My accounts are always balanced." Feel the profound peace that washes over you as you let go of the need to control. You are no longer a lone warrior fighting for scraps. You are a cherished shareholder in a benevolent cosmos. With this deep faith in a just and responsive universe, you are now truly free. Free from worry, free from resentment, free from the desperate need to control. You are now liberated to become a joyful and prolific creator, knowing with unshakable certainty that no act of value is ever wasted. You understand that every positive entry you make in the grand ledger raises the tide of your own life. This thrilling realization opens up a new frontier of conscious creation. If the universe is this responsive, if the ledger is this precise, what if we could move from being merely passive contributors to being active, deliberate investors in our own reality? What if we could learn to consciously make large, high-yield deposits into our universal account every single day? This is the next magnificent stage of our power. It is time to learn how to consciously and deliberately begin planting seeds in the garden of the mind. We have arrived at a place of profound trust. We have released our frantic grip on the world, knowing now that we are supported by a benevolent and intelligent universe, a universe that keeps a perfect account of all we give and all we are. We understand that every act of value is recorded in the grand ledger. This faith liberates us from the past, from resentment, and from the fear of being overlooked. It makes us free. But what does a free being do with their freedom? They create. Knowing that the system is not only just, but exquisitely responsive, we now move from being passive trusters in the system to becoming active, conscious co-creators with it. We are now ready to deliberately and joyfully make deposits into our universal account. We are ready to learn the sacred art of creation itself. This brings us to the most misunderstood and yet most powerful faculty you possess, your imagination. In our modern, productivity-obsessed world, imagination has been relegated to the realm of children, artists, and daydreamers. It is seen as a frivolous escape from the real world. This is a tragic and deeply disempowering misconception. Your imagination is not an escape from reality. It is the womb of reality. It is the creative workshop where the blueprint of your future is drafted. It is the sculptor's studio where you give form to the unmanifested. What you consistently and feelingly imagine, you are commanding into existence. To imagine is not to daydream. It is to issue a divine decree. Let us return to the fertile ground of our garden metaphor. Your subconscious mind is the rich, dark, impartial soil. It does not argue, it does not judge, it does not question. Its sole powerful function is to accept any seed planted within it and to nurture it into form with all the life force of the universe. Your imaginal act is the seed, a clear, sensory-rich, feeling-toned image of a desired reality is the most potent seed you can ever plant. This is not just mysticism, it is a form of spiritual neuroscience. Your brain and your nervous system, the complex biological machinery that interprets reality, often cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and an experience that is physically happening. When you close your eyes and imagine, with all your senses, the joy and relief of paying off all your debts, your brain begins to release the same chemicals: dopamine, serotonin, as if you had actually done it. Your body begins to relax. Your heart rate changes. You are, in a very real sense, beginning to inhabit the biology of your future self. By repeating this imaginal act, you are forging new neural pathways. You are literally rewiring your brain to look like the brain of the person who has already achieved your goal. You are creating what can be called memories of the future. When you create a powerful memory of a future event, your body begins to believe it has already happened. And if it has already happened in your mind and body, its appearance in your outer world is merely a formality, a shadow catching up to the light you have already generated. So, how do we practice this sacred art effectively? This is not mere wishful thinking. It is a disciplined craft. It is a masterclass in creation. The first step is clarity of intent. You must know what seed you want to plant. A vague desire for more money is a weak and scattered seed. It has no form. You must focus not on the thing itself, but on the end scene, the scene that implies your wish has been fulfilled. If you desire financial freedom, do not imagine a pile of money. That is a means, not an end. Imagine the scene that would take place after you have become free. Perhaps it is an intimate conversation with your partner, where you hold their hand and say, "I can't believe we're finally here. We can do whatever we want." Feel the relief in that statement. Perhaps it is the act of effortlessly booking a dream vacation without checking your bank balance. Feel the freedom in that click of the mouse. The key is to imagine a short, simple scene that has the feeling of, "It is done." The second step is to prepare the soil. The great mystic Neville Goddard taught that the most fertile time for planting these seeds is in the state akin to sleep. This is the drowsy, relaxed state you enter just before drifting off to sleep, or the gentle, calm state just as you are waking up. Why? Because in this state, the loud, analytical, conscious mind, the guardian at the gate, eyes sleepy and subdued. The gateway to the subconscious garden is wide open. This is also the state you can achieve through deep meditation. When the mind is still, the soil is ready to receive the seed without resistance. The third step is to build the sensory reality. This is where you make the seed real. Wishful thinking is a flat, two-dimensional image. A creative imaginal act is a three-dimensional, multi-sensory world. Do not just see your end scene. Step into it. If you are imagining that conversation with your partner, What do you see with your inner eye? The look of love and relief on their face. What do you hear? The sound of their voice, the sound of your own voice, filled with a new peace. What do you feel? The warmth of their hand in yours, the comfort of the sofa you are sitting on. Reach out and touch something in your imaginal scene. Smell the air. Make the scene so vivid, so real, so dense with sensory detail that for a moment you forget where your physical body is. Your body should begin to react as if it is truly there. That is how you know the seed is potent. The fourth, and most crucial, step is to add the water. A seed, no matter how perfect, will not grow in dry soil. The water that brings your imaginal seed to life is feeling, the feeling of the wish fulfilled. An image without feeling is a dead blueprint. An image infused with the feeling of gratitude, relief, joy, or peace, as if your desire were already a present fact, is a living, breathing creation. You must feel the emotion now that you believe you would feel then. This is the catalyst. This is the magic ingredient. This is the water that awakens the dormant life within the seed. As you practice this, you must be aware of the common pitfalls. The first is the trap of the how. The moment you create your beautiful end scene, your egoic mind will jump in and demand, but how is it going to happen? What are the steps? The how is not your business. The how is the domain of the universe's infinite intelligence. Your only job is to live in the end, to remain faithful to your imaginal scene. To worry about the how is to dig up your seed to see if it's growing. You must leave the seed in the soil and trust the process. The second pitfall is trying too hard. This sacred act should be playful, joyful. It should feel like a delightful secret you are savoring. If your imaginal practice feels like a chore, like a stressful act of striving, the energy is wrong. You are broadcasting effort, not ease. Approach it with the light-hearted spirit of a child playing make-believe, who so fully enters their imaginary world that it becomes real to them. The final pitfall is contradicting your seed throughout the day. You cannot spend 5 minutes at night planting a seed of abundance and then spend the next 23 hours watering the weeds of worry, doubt, and fear with your attention. Your dominant inner conversations and feeling states must be in harmony with your desired end. When you catch yourself worrying, gently, without judgment, guide your mind back to the feeling of your wish already fulfilled. The blueprint you create in your imagination is essential. The clear, sensory-rich scene is the architectural drawing you hand to the universe. But a blueprint, on its own, is just a piece of paper. It has no inherent power. It needs to be energized. It needs electricity to run through its wires for the building's lights to turn on. The feeling, the deep embodied conviction that it is already done, is that electricity. This feeling is not just one part of the process, it is the entire engine of creation. To master the generation of this feeling is to hold the key to manifesting your desires with grace and speed. We must now go deeper into this most crucial element. We must learn how to generate and sustain the vibration of already done. We have arrived at the very heart of creation, the inner sanctum where thought becomes thing. In our last chapter, we learned the sacred art of planting a seed in the garden of the mind. We learned to craft a clear, sensory-rich blueprint of our desired reality through the power of imagination. But a blueprint, however beautiful, is a static document. It has no life, no power on its own. A blueprint needs electricity. It needs an animating force to flow through its designs and turn the lights on. That electricity, that animating force, is what we will master today. It is the entire engine of creation. It is the alpha and the omega of the alchemical process. It is the vibration of already done. This is perhaps the most subtle and yet the most critical distinction on the entire spiritual path to prosperity. We must first understand what this vibration is not. It is not hope. Hope is a beautiful state, but it is oriented towards the future. Hope says, I believe something good can happen. It is a step up from despair, but it still contains the seed of doubt. It still implies that the desired reality is not yet here. It is most certainly not desire or wanting. Desire, in its grasping form, is a declaration of lack. When you say, I want more money, the energetic signal you are broadcasting is, I lack money. You are focused on the absence of the thing, not the presence of it. You are tuned to the frequency of lack, 88 FM, and so the universe must faithfully reflect more lack back to you. The vibration of already done is a state of being that transcends both hope and desire. It is the calm, peaceful, grateful, and embodied knowing that your desire is a present tense fact. It is the feeling you would have after your prayer has been answered, after your manifestation has arrived. The grand secret of all master creators is this: you must generate this feeling before there is any physical evidence to justify it. You feel the relief of being debt-free while the bills are still on the table. You feel the joy of a loving partnership while you are still sleeping alone. You embody the frequency of the answer before the question has been resolved in your material world. How is this possible? It works because of the fundamental nature of reality. The quantum field, the energetic soup from which all matter arises, exists as a sea of infinite potentials. Every possible reality exists as a wave of possibility. What collapses the wave into a particle, into a tangible experience? Your focused, feeling-toned attention, your consciousness, is the creative force that selects a reality from the infinite menu of potentials. When you observe your life from a state of fear and lack, you are collapsing waves of potential that match that fear and lack. But when you can, through the power of your disciplined mind and heart, generate the feeling, the vibration, of already being the person who has what you desire, you are sending a new, powerful signal into the field. You are providing the precise energetic signature that commands a new wave of potential to collapse into your physical reality. You are no longer hoping for a different future. You are broadcasting from it. Let us make this intensely practical. Imagine you are Browse, a vast cosmic online catalog of all possibilities. You find the perfect item, a life of financial freedom and creative joy. You have examined it. You know it is what you want. Your imaginal act, as we learned in the last chapter, is the equivalent of clicking "Place your order." Now, what happens in the normal online shopping experience? A moment later, you receive a confirmation email. It says, "Thank you for your order. Your item is being prepared for shipment. It is on its way." That feeling of relief and certainty you get when you see the confirmation email, that is the vibration of already done. Now, what is your behavior in the days between receiving that confirmation and the package arriving at your door? Do you frantically email the company every hour asking, "Did you get my order? Are you sure it's coming? When will it be here?" Do you pace your house, wringing your hands in anxiety, convinced it was all a mistake? Of course not. That would be absurd. You relax. You trust the system. You go about your life with a quiet, confident, happy anticipation. You know it is on its way. You might even begin to clear a space in your home where your new item will go. You are living from the reality that it is a done deal. This state of relaxed, confident, peaceful expectation is the exact vibration we must cultivate. When you have performed your imaginal act correctly and truly felt it real for even a moment, you have placed your order with the universe. Your job now is not to keep reordering frantically, but to cultivate the feeling of confident expectation. Your work is to trust the cosmic delivery system. So how do we cultivate and sustain this state, especially when our outer world seems to contradict it? The first technique is called scripting. Before you go to sleep, take a journal and write an entry as if it were a future date. and your desire has already been your reality for some time. Write it in the past tense. For instance, it is December 2025. I am sitting here feeling so incredibly peaceful and grateful. I remember back in the middle of the year when I used to worry so much about money. It feels like a lifetime ago. The business has been flowing with such ease these last few months, and waking up every day filled with creative purpose instead of anxiety is the most incredible gift. By writing it as a memory, you are tricking your subconscious mind into accepting it as a historical fact, generating the authentic feeling of it being done. A second technique is the lullaby method. As you are drifting off to sleep, in that drowsy, receptive state, repeat a short phrase over and over again that implies the fulfillment of your wish. It should not be a grasping, "I want." It should be a statement of fact. A simple "thank you," repeated with the feeling of gratitude for a prayer answered, is incredibly powerful. Or the single word, relief. Feel the physical sensation of relief washing over your body. Let this be the last vibration that impregnates your subconscious mind before you sleep. The third technique is to subtly act as if. This is not about being fraudulent or spending money you do not have. It is about embodying the attitude of the person you are becoming. How would the financially secure version of you walk down the street? Would their shoulders be slumped in worry, or would they be back with their head held high? How would they speak to a cashier at a grocery store? With the frantic energy of scarcity, or with a calm, gracious confidence? Start making these small, subtle shifts. Carry yourself with the quiet dignity of someone who knows they are cared for by the universe. Inhabit the posture of your future self. Sustaining this vibration is a practice. It requires mental discipline. Your five senses will present you with evidence of your current reality. Doubts will arise. The temptation to check the tracking number on your cosmic delivery will be strong. When this happens, do not fight the doubt. Do not purge yourself. Simply acknowledge the thought, and then gently, lovingly, guide your attention back to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Remember the feeling of the confirmation email. Remember the state of confident expectation. Every time you consciously choose to return to this state, you are strengthening the signal. You are being faithful to your unseen reality. When you truly master the art of living from the end, when the vibration of already done becomes your default state, your entire relationship with the world transforms. You are no longer needy. You are no longer grasping. You operate from a state of sovereign peace. And from this new, elevated vantage point, you begin to perceive the very nature of money itself in a completely new light. It ceases to look like a solid, static object to be accumulated, hoarded, and protected out of fear. Instead, you see it for what it truly is, a dynamic, living current of energy, a force that must circulate to stay alive. You are now ready to understand money, not as a pile of stones, but as a flowing river. You are ready to see money as flowing water, not stagnant stone. You have now learned to inhabit the state of your wish fulfilled. You have practiced generating the powerful, peaceful, and magnetic vibration of already done. From this elevated vantage point, this high plateau of consciousness, you begin to look upon the world with new eyes. The frantic, desperate energy of the chase has subsided. The neediness has dissolved. You are no longer looking at the world as a source of something you lack, but as a mirror of the wholeness you now feel within. And as your perception of yourself has changed, your perception of everything outside of you must also transform. Most profoundly, your perception of money itself begins to shift. For most of your life, you have been conditioned to see money as a solid, a thing, an object. You see it as a pile of stones in a fortress or a stack of gold bars in a vault. It is something to be acquired, accumulated, counted, and protected. In this old, fear-based paradigm, the goal is to build the highest, thickest walls with these stones. Your sense of security is directly proportional to the size of your pile, and so every dollar spent feels like a stone being removed from your fortress wall, making you feel more vulnerable, more exposed. Spending creates anxiety, giving creates fear. This mindset, which seems so practical and responsible on the surface, is in fact a recipe for energetic death. It creates a dam across the river of life. It is an attempt to stop the flow, and life, by its very nature, is flow. To stop the flow is to create stagnation. Imagine a pond where water flows in but never flows out. What happens? The water becomes still, then murky, then lifeless. It becomes a breeding ground for the algae of anxiety and the insects of worry. It does not grow. It does not expand. It can only shrink, slowly evaporating under the hot sun of inflation and the unexpected costs of life. The person who lives by this stagnant pond lives in a state of constant, low-grade fear, always guarding their dwindling supply. This is the reality created by seeing money as a stone to be hoarded. Now, from your new state of being, allow a new perception to emerge. Money is not a stone. Money is water. It is not a static object, but a dynamic current. It is the great, flowing river of value that moves through the landscape of human existence. It carries energy, it nourishes what it touches, and its power lies in its constant, unimpeded motion. A healthy financial life is not a stagnant, protected pond. It is a vibrant, thriving river ecosystem with a strong, healthy inflow and a strong, healthy outflow. The goal is not to dam the river and create a personal reservoir built of fear. The goal is to become a masterful, joyful steward of the portion of the river that flows through your life. You trust that the river has a source, high in the mountains of the universe, and that it will never run dry. This requires us to heal our relationship with outflow. In the scarcity mindset, all outflow is seen as loss. In the abundance mindset, outflow is seen as a necessary and joyful part of circulation. A healthy river must flow out to the sea. A healthy body must exhale. A healthy financial life must have outflow. This outflow primarily happens through three sacred channels. The first channel is spending with joy and appreciation. For years, you may have paid your bills with a feeling of dread, a painful pang of loss as the money left your account. This act, repeated over and over, reinforces the energy of lack. Let us transform this. The next time you pay a bill for electricity, for food, for your home pause, before you make the payment, hold the bill in your hand and feel genuine gratitude for the service it represents. Gratitude for the light that allows you to read at night, for the heat that keeps you warm, for the food that nourishes your body. You are not losing money. You are circulating value. You are participating in a magnificent dance of exchange. As you send the money out, bless it. Silently say, I release you with joy and gratitude. May you bless every life you touch on your journey. By doing this, you transform a moment of anxiety into a powerful act of high vibrational abundance. You are telling the universe, I have more than enough to participate joyfully in this flow. The second channel is investing with trust. This is the act of consciously directing a portion of your river's flow into channels where it can expand, grow, and carve new pathways. In the old mindset, investing can feel like fearful gambling, but from a place of trust, it is an act of faith. It is a statement to the universe that you believe in a future of growth and expansion. You are taking some of the river's current and using it to water a field that will yield a future harvest. It is a co-creative act with the universe, expressing your belief that value can and will expand. The third, and perhaps most powerful, channel is giving with detachment. This is the act of consciously pouring a portion of your water directly back into the great ocean of life, with no expectation of a direct, one-to-one return. This is the ultimate demonstration of your trust in the source. It is a powerful, energetic declaration that says, "My supply is not limited to what is in this riverbank. My supply is the entire ocean. I have more than enough, so I can share freely." This act of unconditional giving, of tithing, is the fastest way to increase the flow of the river. It creates a powerful energetic vacuum that the universe, by law, must rush to fill, often in ways you could never have anticipated. You give from your river, and the universe replenishes it from 1,000 hidden springs. This entire philosophy is captured in a simple, timeless metaphor, that of holding sand in your hand. If you go to the beach and scoop up a handful of dry sand, and then clench your fist as tightly as you can, what happens? The sand, under pressure, trickles out between your fingers. The harder you squeeze, the faster you lose it, until your hand is empty. This is the law of the universe. The energy of grasping, controlling, and hoarding out of fear leads only to loss. Now, imagine you scoop up the same handful of sand, but this time, you simply hold it in a relaxed, open palm. You trust it. You are not afraid of it blowing away. You are at peace with it. What happens? You keep all of it. And because your hand is open, it is possible for more to be added. This is the posture of the abundance mindset. When you hold your money with an open, relaxed hand, spending with joy, investing with trust, and giving with freedom, it not only stays with you, it multiplies. Your open, trusting energy invites more to flow in. The fear of loss creates loss. The trust in flow creates more flow. You are no longer a frantic guard, protecting a pile of dead stones. You have become a wise and joyful river keeper. You honor the inflow, and you bless the outflow. You understand that your security does not come from the amount of water currently between your riverbanks. Your security comes from your unshakable faith in the Sourceth infinite, snow-capped mountain from which the river is eternally fed. The money is just the beautiful, clear, flowing water that proves the existence of the source. When you truly live in this way, when your daily life becomes a dance with this current of circulation, you make the most profound discovery of all. The ultimate prize was never the water itself. It was not about accumulating the most money. The true prize is the feeling you have cultivated within yourself. It is the freedom from fear. It is the deep, abiding peace that comes from trusting the flow of life. It is the sovereign power you feel as a conscious steward of the energy that passes through you. You realize that you have attained something far more valuable than riches. You have attained sovereignty. This brings us to the very peak of our mountain, to the ultimate purpose of this entire journey, to understand the true meaning of wealth. Sovereignty. We have journeyed far. We have walked through the valley of echoes, shattered the prison of enough, healed the wounds of the past, and learned to dance with the great flowing river of life. You have learned to become the source, the mint, the alchemist of your own reality. You have mastered the inner mechanics of prosperity. And now we arrive at the summit of this mountain, the vantage point from which the entire landscape makes sense. And we must ask the ultimate question: what was it all for? What is the true purpose of this journey? Was it merely to accumulate more things, to build a bigger fortress of stones, to have a larger number on a screen? If that were the goal, the journey would be a hollow one. For we have all seen the truth of the world. There are many who possess great riches, yet live in states of quiet desperation. There is the workaholic CEO, a titan of industry, who has a portfolio worth billions but has no time to watch his own children grow up. There is the famous entertainer, adored by millions, yet trapped by public opinion and a prisoner in their own home, unable to experience a moment of simple, anonymous peace. There is the heir to a great fortune, who has never known a day of financial worry, but whose entire life is dictated by the expectations and obligations that come with their inheritance. They have an abundance of money, but they have no freedom. They have no peace. They have no true ownership of their own lives. Are these people wealthy? By the world's standards, yes. By the standards of the soul, they are destitute. This reveals the great deception of our culture. We have been sold a definition of wealth that is measured in objects, assets, and status, but this is a shallow and ultimately unfulfilling prize. The journey we have undertaken was never about accumulating the trinkets of a kingdom. It was about claiming the one thing that matters. It was about attaining sovereignty. This is the true meaning of wealth. Sovereignty is not a word we often use in a personal context. We think of sovereign nations, but it is time to reclaim it for the individual soul. Sovereignty is the state of being the absolute ruler of your own inner and outer kingdom. It is the ability to live a life that is a true and authentic expression of who you are, free from the dominion of external pressures and internal compulsions. This true wealth, this sovereignty, rests upon three magnificent pillars. The first pillar is time sovereignty. This is the ultimate luxury, for time is the one resource that is utterly non-renewable. Every human being, from the pauper to the king, is given the same 24 hours each day. The truly wealthy person is not the one who earns the most money in that day, but the one who has the most control over how those hours are spent. Time sovereignty is the freedom to wake with the sun, not with an alarm clock. It is the ability to lose yourself in a book for an entire afternoon without a nagging feeling of guilt that you should be doing something more productive. It is the power to be fully, completely present with a loved one, your mind not fractured by deadlines and obligations. It is the choice to structure your days around your own natural rhythms of energy and inspiration, not around the artificial demands of a 9-to-5 cage. To own your time is to own your life. Any accumulation of money that does not lead to an increase in time sovereignty is not wealth. It is merely a more comfortable form of bondage. The second pillar is energy sovereignty. Your life force, your vitality, is your most precious creative asset. Every day, you are given a finite amount of this energy. Energy sovereignty is the freedom to choose, with conscious intent, where this sacred energy is invested. It is the power to say a calm and resolute no to projects, clients, social obligations, and even relationships that you know drain your spirit, no matter how prestigious or profitable they may appear. It is the discernment to walk away from situations that are steeped in drama, conflict, and negativity. Conversely, it is the freedom to pour your full, enthusiastic energy into the work, the hobbies, and the connections that light you up, that make you feel alive, that align with your soul's deepest purpose, even if they don't make conventional financial sense. To be the sovereign of your own energy is to be the guardian of your inner peace. The third pillar is attention sovereignty. In our modern age of endless distraction, this may be the most critical pillar of all. Your attention is your creative superpower. Where your attention goes, your energy flows, and your reality grows. The world is in a constant battle for this resource. The algorithm, the news cycle, the advertisers, the endless scroll, they are all trying to colonize your mind and direct your focus. Attention sovereignty is the ability to disconnect from this noise. It is the power to direct your focus, like a laser beam, onto what you deem important. It is the freedom to spend an hour in silent contemplation, to go deep into a single complex idea, to master a difficult skill, to be utterly absorbed in the beauty of a single moment. The person who is the master of their own attention, who can choose what enters their mind and what they focus on, cannot be manipulated. They are an island of serene power in an ocean of chaos. They are among the wealthiest people on the planet. Let us hold in our minds two contrasting images. First, see the king in a golden prison. He sits on a massive throne made of solid gold, in a vast hall where even the air seems to glitter. He eats from golden plates and drinks from jeweled goblets. He is surrounded by all the material wealth the world can offer. But the heavy doors to the hall are locked from the outside. His schedule is determined by his ministers. His words are governed by political necessity. His attention is consumed by the constant threat of his enemies. He does not own his time. He does not own his energy. He does not own his attention. He is a servant to his own vast kingdom. Now, see the free pilgrim. She walks a simple, dusty road beneath a limitless sky filled with stars. She owns nothing but the clothes she wears, a sturdy walking stick, and a single wooden bowl. Yet, she is completely and utterly free. She chooses when to walk and when to rest. She decides which path to explore. She dedicates her energy to her own spiritual journey. Her attention is free to marvel at the sunrise, to contemplate the nature of existence, to engage in deep conversation with a fellow traveler. She is the absolute sovereign of her own small, yet infinite kingdom. Now ask your heart the question, who is the wealthy one, the imprisoned king, or the free pilgrim? The purpose of our entire journey has been to learn how to generate enough flow, enough resources, to fund our own sacred pilgrimage of freedom. Money is not the goal. Money is the tool. It is the tool we use to buy back our time, to protect our energy, and to liberate our attention. The new financial goal is not a specific number in an account. The goal is sovereignty, and the amount of money required to achieve that sovereignty is a deeply personal equation. It is the amount that allows you to live your authentic life with a sense of peace and freedom. For one person, that may be very little. For another, it may be a great deal. But the goal is not the money itself. It is the state of being the money provides. So let us redefine our life's ambition. Let us aim for a wealth that is measured not in dollars, but in sovereign hours. Let us build a fortune not of assets, but of peace of mind. Let us become millionaires of moments of unstructured, joyful, authentic living. This is the true prize, not a life of opulent bondage, but a life of simple, elegant freedom, sovereignty. But to stand in this power in the real world, to truly own your time and energy in a society that wants to commodify them, requires one final piece of courageous inner work. It is not enough to have healed your past and to understand the flow. You must now have the courage to stand in the marketplace of life and command your true value. You must be willing to embody your sovereign power in your interactions with others, not with arrogance, but with a quiet and unshakable certainty. This requires us to cultivate the courage to be valued. We have redefined the entire purpose of our journey. The goal is not riches, but sovereignty. The true prize is the freedom of our own time, the integrity of our own energy, and the focus of our own attention. We have claimed this inner kingdom as our own. But a king or queen who rules only within the walls of their own mind, who is sovereign only in their meditations, is not yet truly free. This inner state of sovereign power must be translated into the world of action. It must be embodied in our conversations, our negotiations, and our relationships. This is where the spiritual meets the material. This is the bridge between knowing your value and having the world reflect that value back to you. This bridge is built with a single precious material, courage. We must now cultivate the courage to be valued. For many of us, especially those on a path of healing and spiritual growth, this is the most challenging step. We have done the deep inner work. We have healed the wounds, quieted the echoes, and felt the truth of our own magnificence. We know we are worthy. But then we enter a negotiation, and a small, timid voice comes out. We are asked to name our price for a service, and we find ourselves apologizing as we say the number. A request is made of our time that we know we should refuse, yet we hear the word yes leaving our lips as if spoken by a stranger. This is the great disconnect. It is the gap between our inner realization and our outer actions. And every time we act in a way that is misaligned with our known value, we create an energetic leak. We dishonor our sovereignty. We tell the universe that our inner knowing is not yet our lived reality. Why is this so difficult? Why does it require such courage? Because to stand for your value is to confront our deepest human fears. First, there is the raw fear of rejection. The inner child in us whispers, "If I ask for what I truly believe I am worth, they will say no, they will laugh. And their rejection will be the ultimate proof that I was a fool to ever believe I was valuable in the first place." We would rather accept less than risk the perceived confirmation of our unworthiness. Second, there is the fear of conflict. Many of us have been conditioned to be nice, to be accommodating, to smooth things over. Setting a firm boundary or stating a high price can feel confrontational, even aggressive. We fear disrupting the peace. We fear being seen as difficult or demanding, and so we sacrifice our own sovereignty on the altar of being liked. Third, there is the insidious whisper of the imposter syndrome. Even after all this work, a voice may persist. Who are you to ask for that? You're not a real expert. You're just pretending. Any moment now, they will find you out. This fear of being exposed as a fraud keeps us playing small, safely hidden in the shadows of what we feel is a reasonable and indefensible position. And finally, for many on this path, there is a layer of what we can call spiritual guilt. A misguided belief that it is somehow unholy or unevolved to charge well for your gifts, especially if that gift is in a creative, healing, or advisory capacity. Let us dismantle this illusion right now with clarity and power. The unique gift that flows through UBIT, your art, your healing presence, your strategic mind is an expression of divine intelligence. It is a sacred trust. To undervalue it, to give it away carelessly from a place of fear or guilt, is not an act of humility. It is an act of dishonoring the source from which that gift flows. To charge for your value with clarity and integrity is to declare that the gifts of spirit are worthy of honor and respect in the material world. The energy we must cultivate is not one of arrogance or aggression. It is one of quiet, embodied certainty. Imagine a young lion cub trying to prove its strength. It might puff out its chest and let out a loud cracking roar. It is posturing. It is insecurity trying to project an image of power. This is the energy we have when we feel we must convince someone of our value, when we argue or become defensive. Now, imagine a full-grown, mature lion. It does not need to roar. It does not need to posture. It walks with a slow, deliberate, majestic calm. Its power is not a performance. It is a self-evident fact of its being. Its presence alone commands respect. This is the energy of true self-worth. It is a silent, unshakable knowing. Your value is not up for debate, it simply is. And from this place of calm certainty, your requests, your prices, and your boundaries are not demands. They are simply statements of fact. So, how do we cultivate this lion-like presence in our practical lives? The first step is the energetic rehearsal. Before you enter a situation where you must state your value, a job interview, a sales call, a negotiation, take 5 minutes alone. Close your eyes. Do not rehearse your words. Rehearse your energy. Feel into the state of the silent lion. Feel your own intrinsic worth as a palpable, solid column of light within you. Embody the calm, unshakable certainty that you are valuable, regardless of the outcome of this conversation. Enter the room from this state, and your words will carry a weight and authority they never had before. The second practice is to reclaim the word no as a sacred act. For too long, you have seen no as a word of rejection. Let us now redefine it. A no spoken from a place of clarity is not a rejection of the other person. It is a powerful affirmation of your own sovereignty. Every time you say no, to a project that does not excite you, to an invitation that drains you, to a request that violates your peace, you are saying a thunderous yes to your own time, your own energy, and your own purpose. A no from a place of integrity is a holy word. Practice it in low-stakes situations. When a store clerk asks if you want to sign up for a credit card, instead of fumbling for an excuse, simply look them in the eye, smile, and say, "No, thank you." Feel the clean power of that simple, honest statement. The third practice is to reframe your pricing. Stop asking, "What do I think they will be willing to pay?" or "What is the market rate?" These are questions of an employee. A sovereign being asks a different question. What is the energy exchange that feels clean, honorable, and respectful of the transformation and value I am providing? Your price is an energetic statement. When you undercharge, the energy is imbalanced. It creates a subtle resentment in you and disrespects the gift you are offering. When you charge with integrity, the exchange is clean. Both you and the recipient are honored. The price should feel like a calm statement of value, not a hesitant apology. Finally, embrace the power of the sacred pause. When you are asked for your time, your energy, or your price, you do not have to answer immediately. The people pleaser in us feels an urgent need to say yes on the spot. Resist this. Learn the power of saying with calm authority, "Thank you for this opportunity. I will consider it and get back to you." This pause is a sanctuary. It takes you out of the reactive mode and allows you to step back into your sovereign center, to consult your own inner wisdom before making a commitment. It is in the pause that you remember you are the lion, not the cub. As you begin to embody this courage, the world will reorganize itself around you. Be prepared. Some people will not like it. Those who have benefited from your weak boundaries and your lack of self-worth will be uncomfortable with the new, sovereign you. They may call you difficult or selfish. Bless them and let them fall away. They are making space, because a new kind of person will be drawn to your energy. Clients who are happy to pay your price, partners who respect your boundaries, opportunities that honor your true worth. The world does not determine your value. It waits for you to declare it, and then it reflects your declaration back to you. You now stand in your power, a sovereign being, clear in your value, and courageous enough to have the world honor it. You have mastered the art of receiving, both the subtle gifts from the universe and the tangible rewards in your daily life. The circuit is complete, the inflow is strong and healthy, and now, from this place of magnificent fullness, from a cup that is not just full but is overflowing, we can explore the final, most joyful paradox of prosperity. We can learn what it truly means to give, not from obligation or a sense of lack, but from a place of magnificent, overflowing abundance. It is time to understand the paradox of giving to receive. You now stand as a sovereign being in your own kingdom. You have acknowledged your innate value, and you have cultivated the courage to have the world honor it. You have learned the art of sacred receiving, turning your umbrella right side up to accept the constant, gentle rain of universal grace. Your cup, once empty, then cracked, then held with trembling hands, is now full. It is strong, it is steady. And as you continue to live in this new alignment, you will find that it is not just full, but overflowing. And the natural, joyful, irrepressible impulse of a cup that is overflowing is to share its contents. This brings us to the final, most beautiful, and most misunderstood principle of prosperity. It is a paradox that confounds the logical mind, but is intimately known by the wise heart. It is the great, sacred secret that the wealthiest souls in history have always known. It is the paradox of giving to receive. Let us first clear away the shallow, transactional interpretation of this law. There is a version of this teaching, common in the world, that says, if you give $10, you will get 100 back. This is the ego's attempt to turn a sacred law into a cosmic slot machine. It is giving with a hook. It is a form of manipulation, dressed in the language of generosity. The energy behind this kind of giving is still one of lack. It is a sly attempt to get. And the universe, which responds not to our actions but to our energy, feels the grasping neediness behind the gift and can only reflect back more experiences of grasping and neediness. We must transcend this kindergarten-level understanding entirely. We are not here to be clever traders with the cosmos. We are here to align with its fundamental nature. The fundamental nature of the universe, of God, of life, is to give. The sun does not shine because it expects the planets to pay it back. It shines because its nature is to radiate light and heat from its own magnificent thermonuclear fullness. A rose does not emit its fragrance hoping to get something in return from the gardener. It releases its perfume because its nature is to express the beauty held within it. True, alchemical giving is to become like the sun, like the rose. It is to give not from a place of sacrifice or depletion, but from a place of your own overflowing fullness. It is not giving away something you need. It is sharing the delightful surplus that your connection to Source naturally creates. The only valid motive for this kind of giving is the joy of the act itself. The joy is the reward. The warmth you feel in your heart when you help someone without any thought of repayment, that feeling is the return on your investment. The sense of purpose you feel when you contribute to a cause that is larger than yourself, that feeling is the dividend. Everything else that may or may not come back to you is secondary. When you fall in love with the act of giving for its own sake, you have aligned yourself with the most powerful creative force in the universe. Let us understand this through the perfect metaphor of the breath. For this entire journey, we have been learning how to breathe financially and spiritually. The inhale is the art of receiving. It is drawing in value, money, love, and grace. It is absolutely necessary for life. But what would happen if you only ever inhaled? If you took a deep breath in and then held it, refusing to let it go? Your lungs would become painfully full. The air would become stale and toxic. Your body would scream for release. You would die. A life focused only on accumulating and receiving becomes like this, stagnant, suffocating, and ultimately lifeless. The exhale is the art of giving. It is the release, the letting go. Is the exhale a loss? Is it a sacrifice of the precious air you just took in? Number. It is a necessary, natural, and deeply pleasurable part of the cycle. In fact, the exhale is what creates the empty space, the vacuum, that makes the next inhale not only possible, but inevitable. You cannot take your next life-giving breath in until you have fully and completely given the last one away. A healthy, enlightened being does not think about their breathing. It is an automatic, effortless, balanced rhythm. Inhale, exhale, receive, give. The purpose of our practice is to make the flow of abundance in our lives as natural and unconscious as our own breath. You receive with quiet gratitude. You give with joyful release. There is no anxiety on either side of the equation. There is only the peaceful, rhythmic flow of a being who is in harmony with the cycles of life. You are no longer trying to manage your pond. You are breathing with the ocean. So how do we practice this? We begin by identifying our overflow. Your overflow may not yet be financial. That is perfectly fine. Where is your cup running over? Do you have an overflow of time? An overflow of a specific skill? An overflow of knowledge? Do you have an overflow of patience, a listening ear, of simple human kindness? We all have an abundance of something. Identify your unique surplus. Next, plan one small, unconditional act of giving from this surplus. The key here is to do it for the pure joy of it, detached from any outcome or need for recognition. Perhaps you anonymously pay for the coffee of the person behind you in line. Perhaps you spend 30 minutes using your professional skills to help a student or a non-profit, expecting nothing in return. Perhaps you write a heartfelt letter of appreciation to someone who made a difference in your life long ago. Perhaps you simply dedicate your morning walk to picking up trash in your neighborhood, a quiet gift to your community. As you perform this act, your focus should be entirely on the feeling it generates within you. Feel the warmth spreading from your heart. Feel the quiet joy of being a channel for goodness. Feel the sense of connection to the web of life. Savor this feeling. This feeling is the entire point of the exercise. For in that moment, you have become like the sun. You have aligned yourself with the giving, benevolent, abundant nature of reality itself. You are broadcasting a pure, powerful signal of wholeness and sufficiency. And here is the beautiful paradox. When you give in this way, with no thought of return, with no strings attached, you open every channel for the universe to bless you. When you were giving to get, you were focused on one specific channel of return. You were telling the universe, I'll give this, but you must repay me through that one specific door. Now, you have let go. You have given for the pure joy of it, and the universe, delighted by your trust and your alignment with its own nature, is now free to surprise and delight you in 1,000 unforeseen ways. You gave your time, and you receive a brilliant money-making idea in the shower. You gave a little money, and you receive a life-changing introduction from a friend. You gave your kindness, and you receive a moment of synchronicity that solves a problem you've been struggling with for months. By releasing your control over the repayment, you allow for a return that is infinitely more creative and abundant than your ego could ever have orchestrated. You poured your cup into the ocean, and the ocean is now sending a tidal wave of blessings back to your shore. When the giving and the receiving become one seamless motion, as natural as your own breath, the struggle is over. The chase is finished. You no longer live in a state of striving for more, but in a state of peacefully managing your flow. You have stepped off the frantic hamster wheel of accumulation and onto the serene, spiraling path of circulation. You have arrived at a new way of living, a new way of being, characterized not by frantic activity, but by a deep and powerful calm. You are now ready to experience this state as your new reality. You are now ready to experience living in prosperous stillness. The breath of life now flows through you without thought, without effort. The sacred inhale of receiving is met by the joyful exhale of giving. The circuit is complete. The frantic energy of the chase has dissolved. The anxious calculations of the ego have quieted. The struggle is over. And in the space that remains, a new quality of being emerges. A state so foreign to our modern world, and yet so deeply native to the soul. It is a state of profound peace, of deep contentment, of an unshakable and quiet power. We have arrived at the final stage of our embodied journey. We have come to know what it is to be living in prosperous stillness. Let us take a moment to honor how far we have come by contrasting the old world with the new. Remember the old state. The mind was like a frantic, noisy marketplace, with the voices of fear, worry, and lack shouting from every corner. The body was a tense vessel, running on the nervous energy of adrenaline and caffeine, always braced for the next problem, the next bill, the next threat. Life was a series of urgent tasks, a relentless pursuit of a future moment when you could finally relax. But that moment never came. Even moments of success were not islands of peace, but merely brief fuel stops before the next frantic leg of the race began. It was a life of doing, of striving, of becoming, but never of simply being. Now, feel into the new state. The marketplace of the mind has grown quiet. The frantic voices have been replaced by a vast, expansive silence. The mind is now like a deep, calm, crystal-clear lake. The body, released from its chronic tension, feels grounded, present, and relaxed. You make decisions not from a place of anxious, pro and con calculation, but from a place of quiet, intuitive knowing. The right path simply feels peaceful, the wrong path feels constricted. Your own inner being has become your most trusted financial advisor. There is a deep, cellular sense of safety, an inner knowing that has nothing to do with the number in your bank account, but which is reflected in the health of that account. Your need for more, for bigger, for louder, has simply fallen away. You find a profound and satisfying joy in the simplest things: the taste of your morning coffee, the warmth of the sun on your face, the sound of a loved one's laughter. You are no longer trying to fill an inner void with outer things, because you have realized in your very bones that there is no void. This is prosperous stillness. It is not a dull, boring state. It is vibrant with a quiet, powerful aliveness. It is the state of the master who has put down their tools, not because the work is finished, but because they have realized that their very existence is the masterpiece. To fully grasp this state, let us embody the metaphor of the mountain. Imagine yourself as a great, ancient mountain. Your roots go deep into the core of the earth, anchoring you in unshakable stability. Your peak reaches high into the silent, star-filled sky, connecting you with the infinite. You are vast, solid, majestic, and eternal. You sit in a state of profound, imperturbable stillness. Now, observe the weather of your life as it moves across your surface. A bright, sunny day arrives, a large check comes in the mail. A project succeeds beyond your wildest dreams. As the mountain, you do not leap with manic excitement. You do not celebrate wildly. You simply feel the warmth of the sun on your slopes. You appreciate it. You allow it. But your inner state of deep, quiet peace does not change. Your worth was not increased by the sun, nor was your fundamental nature altered. Then a violent storm descends. The winds of chaos howl. The rains of unexpected expenses pour down. Lightning flashes, a deal falls through, a market crashes. As the mountain, you do not panic. You do not despair or shrink in fear. You feel the rain washing your face. You feel the wind testing your strength. But you remain unmoved. You know that you are the mountain, and this is merely weather. The storm is a transient event passing over your eternal substance. Your peace is not contingent on the financial forecast. You are the mountain, and the mountain endures all weather, knowing that the sun will always return, and that even the storm serves to nourish the life that grows upon its slopes. This is what it means to live in prosperous stillness. You are no longer identifying with the fluctuating weather of your financial life. You are identifying with the eternal mountain of your own being. The money, the assets, the opportunities, these are just the changing patterns of sun and cloud. Your true wealth, your true security, is the mountain itself. It is your own vast, silent, unshakable presence. When you live from this place, you finally understand the true source of all security. It does not come from the money. Money can be lost. It does not come from your job, your house, or your investments. These things are all part of the transient weather. True, unshakable security comes from only one place: your connection to the stillness within. It comes from your direct experience of the eternal, unchanging dimension of yourself, the silent witness, the I Am presence that was there before your birth and will be there after your body is gone. This connection is your only true asset, and it can never be taken from you. All the prosperity in the outer world is simply a reflection of the depth and stability of your connection to this inner source. So I invite you now to practice being the mountain. Close your eyes. Feel your spine as the central axis of this great mountain. Feel your feet and your legs rooting you deep into the molten core of the earth. Feel your head, your peak, touching the vast, silent cosmos. Feel your own immense, quiet, eternal nature. Breathe, and as you breathe, know that you are breathing with the slow, deep rhythm of geology. of eons. A financial worry may appear like a small cloud. Let it drift by. A surge of excitement about a future gain may appear like a bright ray of sun. Let it warm you, and let it pass. Do not cling to any of it. You are not the weather. You are the mountain. You are the stillness that witnesses all phenomena. You are the silence that holds all sound. Rest in this power. Rest in this peace. This is your true home. This is your natural state. As you rest here, as the magnificent, silent mountain of your own being, a final, beautiful truth begins to dawn in the clear, quiet sky of your consciousness. You look back over the long and winding path of your journey. You remember the initial quest, the desire to awaken the money spirit, to find the secret to prosperity. You sought it as something outside of yourself, a force to be courted, an energy to be captured, a secret to be learned. But from this high and silent vantage point, from this place of profound, prosperous stillness, you see the truth with perfect, crystalline clarity. There was never anything external to find. There was never a separate spirit to awaken. The entire journey was a great, sacred circle, leading you not to an outer destination, but back to the absolute center of your own heart. The treasure you were digging for was made of the same substance as the one who was digging. The prosperity you were seeking was the very consciousness that was seeking it. You are now ready for the final, liberating realization, the truth that dissolves the seeker and the sought into one. You are ready to know that you are the spirit you were seeking. You are resting now in the quiet majesty of your own being. You have become the mountain, witnessing the passing weather of the world from a place of deep, unshakable peace. You are living in prosperous stillness. The frantic search is over. The striving has ceased. And here, in the profound silence of the summit, the final and most beautiful realization dawns. It arrives not with a thunderclap, but with the gentle, undeniable clarity of a sunrise. You began this journey seeking to awaken a spirit. You came here looking for the money spirit, a mysterious, external force of abundance that you hope to understand, to court, and to attract. You saw yourself as a seeker, and prosperity as the thing to be sought. Look back now, from this high vantage point, upon the long and winding path you have traveled. See the beauty and the perfection of the journey, and allow yourself to smile at the great divine and humorous paradox at the heart of it all. The spirit you were seeking was the one doing the seeking. The treasure you were digging for was the one holding the shovel. The consciousness you were trying to attract is the very consciousness that is looking through your eyes and hearing these words right now. You were a wave, searching for the ocean. Imagine that wave. Born into the vast sea, it feels itself as a separate entity. It has a beginning and an end. It sees the immense, powerful, eternal ocean all around it, and it feels a deep sense of longing. It yearns to know the ocean, to merge with it, to understand its secrets. It looks at other waves, some bigger, some smaller, and it compares itself. It strives to be a more impressive wave, a more spiritual wave, hoping that by its efforts it might finally earn the ocean's grace. It prays to the ocean for support, it fears the ocean's power, and it spends its entire, brief existence engaged in this noble but ultimately futile search for the very thing that it is made of. And then, one day, in a moment of perfect crystalline stillness at the very peak of its arc, the wave stops looking outward. It looks inward, and it realizes that its own substance, the very water that gives it form and life, is the ocean. It realizes that its power, its movement, its rise and fall, is nothing but a temporary expression of the ocean's own magnificent energy. It was never separate, it was never lacking. It was the ocean, playing the game of being a wave for a little while. In that moment, the search ends. The seeker and the sought dissolve into one. The wave does not become the ocean. It simply realizes it was the ocean all along. You are that wave. And the money spirit, the spirit of abundance, were simply the names you gave to the ocean. Let us look back at the journey through the lens of this ultimate truth. We began with the echo of lack. We thought it was an external signal telling us of our poverty. Now we see it was the sound of the ocean. Forgetting it was the ocean, the sound of our own spirit temporarily lost in the illusion of being a limited wave. We confronted the prison of enough. We thought it was a destination we had to strive for. Now we see it was a cage the wave built around itself, trying to contain a thimbleful of its own infinite nature. We healed the ancestral and personal wounds. We thought we were repairing something that was broken within us. Now we see that our spirit, our ocean nature, was never broken. It was always perfect and whole. We were simply wiping the mud from the surface of a flawless diamond. We learned to use the tools of imagination and the vibration of already done. We thought these were techniques to attract something from the outside in. Now we see they are the innate creative faculties of the ocean itself, the way that the formless takes on form, the way the universe expresses its ideas through us. You were not attracting abundance. You were the abundance, and your focused intention was simply rearranging the outer world to match your inner truth. We mastered the flow of giving and receiving. We thought it was a law to be followed. Now we see it is the natural respiration of the ocean itself, the cosmic tide of inhale and exhale that is the breath of all life. Do you see the perfection of it? Every step was necessary. The search was necessary. The feeling of being a separate wave was necessary, for without it, there could be no journey, no discovery, and none of the joy of this final, beautiful homecoming. You had to believe you were separate to have the adventure of finding your own unity. And so, we now gently release the names. The money spirit, the spirit of abundance. These were useful signposts on the path. They were fingers pointing to the moon. But now you have seen the moon, you no longer need the finger. To continue to think of prosperity as a separate spirit is to continue to entertain the illusion of duality, the illusion that you are the wave and it is the ocean. But you are one. Your consciousness and the consciousness of abundance are not two separate things. They are different names for the same living, intelligent, creative energy. So, who are you? You are the spirit you were seeking. What does it mean to live from this realization? It means a final and total shift in your orientation to life. You stop asking, how can I connect with the spirit of abundance? And you begin to ask, from a place of absolute authority, as the spirit of abundance that I am, what do I choose to create today? The question shifts from a plea to a creative command. You stop trying to raise your vibration to match some external ideal. You realize that your own authentic state of peace, joy, and love is the highest vibration. Your job is not to chase a frequency, but to simply be yourself, more fully and completely than ever before. You stop seeking, you begin expressing. Your life is no longer a search for treasure. It is a showcase for the treasure that you are. Every action you take, every word you speak, becomes an expression of the abundant, creative spirit that is your true identity. The world becomes your playground, not your battlefield. Money becomes a delightful and obedient tool, a loyal servant to your creative vision, not a cruel master to be feared and appeased. You are no longer the effect, you are the cause. You are no longer the wave being tossed by the currents. You are the ocean, dreaming itself into the beautiful, temporary form of a wave. And so, the journey ends exactly where it began. Within you, the question has become the answer. The seeker has become the sought. You came here looking for a secret, and in the end, you have found yourself. This is the only secret. This is the only truth. This is the only wealth. Let this profound realization now settle into every cell of your body, every corner of your heart, as we conclude our time together, not with an end, but with a magnificent new beginning. The journey is complete. The circle closes. We have walked the long path home, only to realize we were standing in the heart of our own house all along. The seeker and the sought have merged into one. The question has dissolved into the answer that you are. There is nowhere else to go. There is nothing else to find. There is only this, the magnificent, peaceful, and prosperous reality of your own being. Do not see this as an end. See it as the true beginning. You are no longer the student, learning the rules of a mysterious game. You are the master, who now understands that the game is a joyful expression of your own consciousness. You are no longer the person searching for the treasure map. You have realized that you are the map, you are the compass, and you are the inexhaustible treasure to which all paths lead. From this day forward, let your life cease to be a search. Let it become a testament. Let every breath be a quiet declaration of your own inherent wealth. Let every action be an expression of the abundance that you are. Let your very presence in the world be a gift of the peace you have cultivated within. The world will shift around you, not because you are forcing it to, but because a mirror has no choice but to reflect the face that looks into it. And the face you now show the world is the face of love, of wholeness, of serene and sovereign sufficiency. When the noise of the world becomes loud, when the old echoes of lack try to whisper their forgotten song, you will need a touchstone, a simple, powerful reminder of the truth you now know. Let these words be that anchor. They are not an affirmation to create something new. They are a statement of what is, and has always been, true. Let them sink deeper than your mind, into the very marrow of your bones. Breathe in, I am the source. Breathe out, the world is my reflection. Breathe in and breathe out, and all is well. Rest now. Rest in this knowing. Rest in the peace that you are. Rest in the prosperity that is your very nature. Rest.